You ready to start?
How you going, this lady Chann, none less. Yo, welcome to Come Box with Chann. Co-host, come in.
Dream it, believe it, become it. Happy New Year. You know the set, bro. We're here, we're working.
Yeah, we are.
What's going on, Chann?
I'm all right. Just here, Happy New Year, first and foremost.
Yes. Start the year
2021.
There you go.
2021, and we can't
done. I see that at the same time. Told you this thing is energy. We can't done.
We can't done, isn't it? So I get this, guys. Welcome to the 2020 wrap-up show. Like, we're just gonna speak about boxing throughout this year, the highs, the lows, the good, the bad, the ugly. Excuse me if you see all of these things on me, guys. I haven't been beaten up. I'm suffering an allergic reaction from a specific medication that I was never allergic to before, but hey, it's wild. So yeah, I don't want to see comments going, who beat you up? Because I'll say it's Tunde.
No, don't bring me in.
Tunde beat me up. He beat me up. He beat me up. Anyway,
big up Sammy Ali. I see you, bro. I see you. Sammy Ali's in the building.
Yeah, Sammy Ali. Oh yeah, Sammy Ali. Yeah, Kite is, well, he's just sent in like, I think 3 squares. I can't see it. So what I was gonna say is like, we will touch on with everybody. We've got some nice special guests coming in, and I'm gassed. I'm so happy. But we will touch on the Campbell Garcia, and we will speak about predictions. But right now, I didn't even do any notes on what was the highs and lows of 2020, so I'm literally winging it. So hey.
Well, listen, the only lows is the coronavirus. That is the low, you know.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've had practically 95% of the boxing fraternity, meaning the boxers themselves, not being able to earn a living.
Mm-hmm.
And that I mean, that's detrimental to the sport, and you know, it just can't go on, because you know, you have these young men, you know, who literally don't have anything but boxing, and they have literally been put on the dole queue, and that is really the low of 2020 for where boxing is concerned.
Yeah, they didn't get any of the funding either.
No,
it's one of the only sports that didn't get any funding.
Yeah, because boxing has never been respected the way it should be in this country. But we've got so many. I mean, listen, you see Boris fling on the boxing gloves when he was trying to get your vote. Boris put on the boxing gloves, went to the boxing club, but as soon as it was time to dish out the money, we never saw none of it. So, you know, it just goes to show the hypocrisy of the whole thing. You know, boxing obviously has an audience whereby, you know, so much so that the PM can do an ad for the sport, but not contribute to the sport when it's time to give the money out. And I find that very, you know, that's bad. That's bad.
Right, it is bad. It's just pathetic, to be honest. But what can you do? What can you do, eh?
In terms of highs, you know, it's been good. I mean, we've survived. The sport has shown that even in the lowest moment, I guess, in history, and I can't recall another year like 2020 in my life, that you know, the promoters, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum, you know, Oscar De La Hoya, we've still managed to keep the sport alive, you know, and that can only be seen as something positive, and I'm happy about that. Because I think from this point forward, we can only grow. And you know, listen, you know, usually at this time of the year, the beginning of the year, you don't get a fight. You know, fighters really don't want to train over the Christmas period, the holiday period, and reserve it really for late February. You know, sometimes some fighters even early March. But you know, we got this big mega fight tomorrow in Dallas, and it's great. Boxing's on the up. We're starting the year on a high
with a great fight. So excited about this fight. I'm wondering, are we? Do you want to bring on the guests and talk about the fight that's coming up first, or do you think, and we can just amalgamate the fight, what they think the highs and the lows are of 2020?
Yeah, I think that's the best thing, because I think,
so
we're starting the year. We need a guest. Bring all the guests in.
Are we bringing the guests in one by one? We have got, and I'm so gassed because I subscribe to these guys. They're called the Boxing Bros, and I watch them religiously for ages now. And it's mad. I reached out on, me, my little DM fingers, and it's a pleasure to have one of the four, Cayden. Yay!
Hello. I want to say thank you for having me. I want to say salute to Tunde for what you've done in the sport to train fighters and get them to championship level. That's something many people can't say. You're going to get hate. There's always going to be haters, but you've actually done something and contributed to the sport. So it's a pleasure to be here with you. And Lady Chann, thank you for subscribing and supporting the channel. And also, you got bars. You got bars. We have to get you on a track with Trill Dollar Bill. So thank you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Big up. Let's big up all of the Boxing Bros. Trill Dollar Bill.
Trill Dollar Bill. We got Conspira G and Ed the TBE. Those are my brothers. Salute to y'all.
Salute to all those guys, man. Yeah, they're the bros, man. Love watching your show. Love it. All right, we're just gonna bring. I got Pro. I don't know where Pro Beeze. There's Pro Beeze. We've got Peptalk. We got Peptalk UK.
Peptalk UK. What's up,
Pro Beeze in the building. What's up, Pro?
Just chilling. New year, 2021. New goals, new objectives. Time to get it. Let's get it.
That's what we're here to do. Then we got a great subscriber, a great supporter of myself and the sport of boxing. We got Leon.
Come on, Mr. Figure.
Leon.
Happy New Year, people. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So, right, we're just going to chop it up. Where do you guys want to start? Do you want to start with the fight tomorrow, or do you want to start with? Shall we start with what? Let's start with what's been happening during the year, shall we? I think, yeah, because we're going to wrap it up. So we'll hit the top of the year, February 2020, one of the biggest upsets, which is led to a trail of conspiracy theories with Tyson Fury and Deontay Brown's Bomber Wilder. So let me start on this topic. Like, excuse my language, he gets on my fucking nerves, mate.
Get him.
Deontay Wilder. This is just so drawn out. I think we should all stop commentary. All boxing channels should stop commentary on him in this new year until he has a fight to talk about, because we are fueling the shit. The more we report it, the more we're fueling it. Let's fuel it when there's something to report. He hasn't got. When he's got a fight, we'll talk about him all day. So this is the last time I'm personally going to speak about him until he's got a fight. I'm going to try my best because I know we have to keep up to current times and commentary. But I mean, I don't really want to be speaking about this guy in 2021 and there's no fight there. Like, where do you guys think this is? Where's this going to go? Like, we're hearing about, Tyson Fury. He was supposed to fight in December. Then all of a sudden it got pulled. Is it that he is in mediation? Are they not in mediation? Has the contract really expired? Has the contract hasn't expired? But we'll rewind it. What was you thinking, Cayden, when you saw him beat up?
I was very happy. I was extremely excited, to tell you the truth, because I feel like Deontay Wilder doesn't respect the sport. He relies on the right hand, and he's been in boxing for years, and he's never really developed another weapon. And so I have people from the United States of America who have the bias because Deontay Wilder is the United States champion. Right. And they were telling me he can beat Anthony Joshua and he can beat Tyson Fury. And I kept telling them, have you seen Tyson Fury fight? He's going to smoke this guy. And so numerous debates, heated arguments. To see Mark Brilliant throwing the towel, I felt vindicated. I made a video just because I was so excited. So I was very happy.
Yeah. I saw the video as well. When you saw Mark Breland throwing the towel, did you think, did you think the repercussions was going to follow of what happened to Mark Breland? Did you think it was right for Mark Breland to throw in the towel? I did, but hey.
Was that directed at me?
Yeah, Cayden. Sorry.
Absolutely. And I knew that he would probably get fired for it because Deontay Wilder was actually calling a fight that I was watching. And he said, I told my corner, if they ever throw in the towel, they're fired. He actually said that when he was calling.
Oh, wow.
So when Breland threw in the towel, I knew that it was a possibility. And in boxing, the trainer's always the scapegoat. So, I figured someone had to pay, and it was most likely going to be Mark Breland.
Damn. So, I know. What do you think, Pro? When you saw the fight? What was your what's your synopsis on this whole thing? I know you like to sit on the damn fence and get and get splinters, but hey, we're gonna push it on one side.
Hey, I'm sure Tunde would agree with me. If I start giving my opinion, the interviews ain't coming. I'll tell you that from now. It's hard enough as it is.
The job's over.
Peptalk done.
Done. But you know what? Nah, you know what? Credit to where credit is due. I went out to Vegas with my brother, and we just we took up that whole fight week atmosphere of Wilder versus Fury 2, and it was an amazing experience right before pandemic. So I'm glad I went because you saw what happened afterwards.
Right.
Everything went upside and down. But the fight itself, what I saw that night is I saw a masterclass display from Fury. I know there's all the conspiracies out there about Glovegate, etc., but he put it on Deontay big time. Like, I couldn't even believe what I was seeing in the arena that night. I was like, wow, is Fury really just marching forward and walking Deontay down? Like, there was no regard for that big right hand. It was straight, let's have it.
And he said he was going to do that, didn't he? That was the thing.
He said that, and a lot of people were like, "Come on, man, Fury, man."
We're like, what?
You're just talking it. But actually, that was part of the game plan because with Fury, he's a master of the mind games.
Yeah.
One minute he said he's going to do one thing, the next minute he says another thing. So you've kind of lost the fight if you get entangled in those mind games before the fight in the first place. So even with the Joshua versus Fury thing, AJ got to be on point with the mind games because Fury is going to try twist up everything before they even fight. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if Tunde would agree with me, but what they say, was it 90% mental, 10% physical, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Higher than that.
That's it. And that's why, you know what? I think what we saw on a night, Wilder versus Fury, we saw a lot of boxing IQ from Fury, who's got years of experience, in and about the ring. He's got the team behind him as well that study and watch boxing relentlessly. And what you saw that come to fruition in the fight against Deontay Wilder, who he was a basketball player before he started boxing.
Exactly.
Fighting since he was a youth, was it 5 or 6 or whatever? He's from a boxing family. So you can see, that he really is about that. You know what I mean? Boxing is his life. And Deontay Wilder, for that big right hand, got kind of exposed that night. You know what I mean? But it's only one defeat. I think some people are a bit overreacting with the one defeat. It's only one defeat. Right? I might add
we're not overreacting. He is. That's the fucking problem. We're like, we good with it.
Yeah. Listen, that big right hand can ice any man. Yeah, when you've got power, like what did you say? You guys need 11 rounds. I only need what? I only need 2 seconds. That's what you said.
2 seconds, and that's
10
facts.
seconds.
I'll give him that.
That's facts. He can ice any man. So, I wouldn't, disregard him, because that heavyweight's about the power. It's about banging out, and he's certainly got that power. As for Fury, look, the man's a master tradesman. That's his trade. Boxing's his thing. He can box and he can punch now. He can go backwards. He can go forward. That's the complete package.
Yeah, he
Right.
boxed as well. But yeah, he's
I'm just calling it as I see it. And I think with Fury, when I saw him fight Chisora the second time, when he switched southpaw in that fight, I was like, what the hell? I don't know if I can swear on here. I don't know if I can swear on here, but
yeah, you can. It's all right.
I'm like, hold on. Is he switching southpaw and just performing like that?
Mm-hmm.
That from that moment, then I watched that young man's career right until date right now, and I said, you know what? This guy is a supreme boxer.
Right.
He's a supreme boxer. That IQ is there all day long.
Right.
So, yeah, man, that was probably my highlight of the year. I know I'm rabbiting on, but that was probably my highlight.
It's fine because we never hear you speak that much, so it's fine.
I just ask questions and I shut up. Let everybody else do it. But no, I'm looking forward to a potential rematch with the two. I do think that the Joshua Fury fight ain't gonna happen just like that. You know, there's loads. You talked about mediation, right? After mediation's arbitration, and arbitration's telling you what you must do. So if they say, hold on a minute, you need to fight, then that's exactly what's gonna happen. So Joshua Fury, don't think like it's a done deal. You know, if you know the ins and out, you know, the sport, you know, in the back office, there's a lot more that's gonna go on first. People have to be paid. Well, Usyk saying that I'll step aside for the right amount of money. Yeah, I'll step aside 10 mil, 5 mil. Yeah, I'll step aside. I'll watch the fight on pay-per-view at home. 5 mil. No
what's the biggest purse that Usyk's received, so I can gauge how much we can actually see an approximation of what he would need to step aside. Does anybody know? Do you know that, Cayden? Do you know that, Lee?
I don't know.
No.
I can try to pull it up real quick.
Yeah, you want to pull it up for us? While if you pull it up and then I go to Leon while you pull that up, please. Thanks, Kay. Lee, what up? What's going down? What do you think about this whole rigmarole?
I enjoy Wilder's fights. I really do enjoy them, and I do think that he should get the rematch with Fury if that's what Fury signed up for. Same way, I think that Joshua should face Usyk, the mandatory, and then they should fight. I think that those are the two fights that need to happen first. I think Wilder's exciting. Some of the excuses have been a bit far-fetched, but
a bit, Lee, a bit.
So listen, we had COVID times, and there weren't much more being spoken about, and that was boxing news at that time. You know, it kept the boxing news interesting. I think he deserves his second chance. I don't think he can beat Fury again.
It's a third chance.
Well, his third chance. I don't think he can beat Fury, but I still think he deserves his chance because he was the champ for that time, and there was a rematch clause. And
yeah, but they put
it's nice if you start wiggling out of them.
But Leon, they put in the expiration date in the contract, and then fucking let the contract expire.
Yeah, but it's been a COVID year. Nothing.
Yeah, but you can put in contracts like act of God and stuff like that in your contract. So that would have been in the contract, no doubt. But I don't know. Okay, did you find the
process they're going through now, isn't it?
I found something, but I haven't found his highest purse because I'm trying to compare how much he made with Tony Bellew.
Yeah.
Now with Derek Chisora.
Yeah, it's probably like I don't know. Probably I'd say probably like.
What they've actually got the purses.
You can look up some purses. Some purses, you can look it up. Some purses you can look up for some fights. Yeah, some purses you can look up. I was watching a commentary the other day. I think I was watching.
I'm sorry.
Bruce Wayne.
I don't mean to interrupt. I just is Express a good source from the UK?
A good what?
They're a reputable paper. Yeah, it's quite good.
The Express. Yeah. It's reputable.
Yeah, they say that he got paid £6.9 million to fight Derek Chisora.
Okay, so he's gonna need 10 milli to step aside.
Double it up. Double or nothing.
Yeah,
I don't think Derek will be happy to hear those figures. I don't think Derek will be happy to hear those figures. Trust me.
I wonder how much.
I know Derek never got those 6.9.
No, but at the end of the day,
Derek got 4.
Derek got 4 though.
Wow.
Maybe. That's not bad. And at the end of the day, Usyk's he comes in as a champion. Usyk comes in as a champion, so he gets a bit of the higher purse, I guess. But hey, he's going to need about 10-12 milli then for the step aside.
But I just want to respond to something that I heard because I thought it was interesting because I hear this argument a lot, mainly from G in Complex, that Deontay Wilder's power is so devastating. But I would question that. We've seen Bermane Stavern get stopped by a man. I think his name was Demetrius King. And Demetrius King had like 15 losses. If you take away that, what was his most impressive knockout? He knocked out Dominic Brazil, but Joshua knocked him out first. Let's talk about
Luis Ortiz was a good knockout.
You said who?
Luis Ortiz.
But Luis Ortiz best win was Bryant Jennings. Bryant Jennings was Luis Ortiz's best win, and Malik Scott. Luis Ortiz never been in a ring with a real puncher because
his
Bryant
resume is
Jennings is not a puncher, and Never is
Malik.
So Malik Scott. So the first time he was in a ring with an actual guy who was known for knocking people out, he got knocked out.
Right.
But he couldn't knock out Fury. No one has, right? So credit to that. But he did drop Tyson Fury twice, and Fury got back up.
Right.
And even when Wilder knocks people out, they get back up. Like, I'm not saying like you got to knock him out, but like he knocked Luis Ortiz out, cool, but he got back up. And he hit Fury with the right hand several times in the rematch. I counted it. I thought like, ooh. Every time I was so worried. Every time he landed, I was like, ooh. But Fury was like, and Fury said Klitschko hits harder. So I'm just not so sure the right hand is what people think it is. I think he was matched carefully to look that way.
I think what it is, the right. Okay, so he's got an impressive right hand that will knock you down, but I don't think he has a concussive right hand punch. He doesn't scramble your computer. He will knock you down, but I don't think he sends it. Do you understand? You know, like how Ruiz, gave Joshua the right concussive punch on the temple, and that will scramble your whole computer. You even talking about, and even Garcia has that left hook, which is which can be a concussive punch that will scramble your computer, as you've seen with him with Bruno, and I forgot the other cat from Nicaragua. But maybe that's just the difference. Maybe he can knock you down, but he doesn't scramble. He does just because you can knock someone out doesn't mean you it's a it's a concussive punch. Not all the time. You're just a knockdown. You're not knocked out. They get up. What do you guys think of that? Because I don't know. I don't fight. So.
Well, for me, power has always been subjective. It's who you're fighting. As my brother said, you look at Wilder's record, you don't really see him knocking out, notable guys who haven't been knocked out. So power is always subjective because the matchmaker, the trainer, is supposed to do their job and pick the fighters what make you look good.
Sorry. Don't worry, I'm just playing around. Just
pick the fighters that make you look good. But as my brother said, he dropped Wilder, he dropped Tyson Fury twice, and he's shown he has power. But again, I remember I was in Vegas, and I was sitting down with Roger Mayweather, and I said, "Who's the hardest puncher?" And he told me Mike Tyson. So I said, "All right, cool, Mike Tyson, that's official," because he said when Mike hit you, you knew you were being hit. But then I remember being in a mansion and talking to, I won't say his name, but one of Floyd's guys. And he said to me, if you look at Mike's record, it did fight a lot of bums. You see what I'm saying? So, and when you go down Mike's record, it's true because he didn't knock out Evander. He didn't knock out Lennox. So how hard did he really punch?
Right.
So punch power for me has always been a subjective thing, and it's always been determined by the opponents that you're fighting. That's not to say that Deontay can't punch, but great times ahead. And I was at the first fight because we were supposed to be on that build. We were on that build, but the opponent was pulled at the last minute. The first Wilder Fury fight. So I was there ringside, and I remember sitting next to Anthony, and I was saying, watching them fight, I was saying this guy's rubbish. That's what I was saying. Deontay Wilder. I was saying this guy's rubbish. I said, bro, this guy can't fight. It didn't even look powerful to me. I mean, I'm just being honest. I was there, right? Beats. Beats. I said, this guy's rubbish. And I remember Anthony said,
I would say.
I remember Anthony was like, yeah, Unks, I hear that, but well, he's knocked out everybody he's full.
Yeah,
you know it's Sunday. You know it's Sunday. Because you're a technical guy, innit? That's why, because like we're looking at the technical aspects of the fighter, right? So we don't get overly gassed just by power. Even Spencer, same thing as well. We're looking at a lot of things like lateral movement, how they cut off the ring, how they catch counter, combinations. The power for me is just not enough. I need the rest as well. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for the casual fan just wants to see explosive knockouts and stuff. But
maybe because of the way, maybe because of who he was fighting, the punches didn't look that effective. Meaning in Tyson Fury, but you know what? I've seen punches, even over here in the UK. One man that could punch was Wayne Alexander. I know you know Wayne, Peps. Wayne could really punch. When he punch you, he knocks so many people out cold. And you know, when I sat in front of Deontay, I didn't really get that impression. So, I mean, listen, we've seen the KOs, but it just couldn't seem to land on Tyson Fury. But the minute
he landed.
The minute I said to Anthony, this guy's rubbish, he dropped Fury.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fury said he was out.
He heard you, man.
Fury actually said he was out for like 4 seconds. Like he said he was actually unconscious for 4 seconds. Like out of that count. Yeah. The way he just got up, I was like, yo, this is like WWF.
He knew what he was doing. You could see him composing himself.
I think you can't really deny him a third match because we need to see that. You know, the first fight was a draw. The second fight, obviously, very conclusive. But there's still that, doubt because Wilder's only lost once. There's still the situation where, you know, maybe he had an off night and maybe he can come better and do something better. And it's always gonna be about the fighter on the night. Because we don't know what the fighters are carrying into the ring mentally and physically, you know. So we'll see. It'll be good.
Well, the third, just to go in, and we can move on to something else.
No worries.
I actually feel like Fury was the worst he was ever going to be in the first fight because he was coming off the 2.5-year layoff. He just lost like 150 pounds.
Right.
He had two fights in 6 months. Right. And then I think he had Wilder in 9 months. He fought, I think, Francesco Pina and Sefries or something like that. And then he went into the Deontay Wilder fight. So, like, realistically, Deontay Wilder had his chance in the first fight, I feel like. It's only going to get harder every time he steps in the ring with Fury. You've seen Fury training now. He looks even better now than he did in the second fight. Good luck, Deontay.
Good luck. If he does get that third fight, good luck, because he's going to lose. But, yeah. All right, so moving along swiftly. Where do we bring it in the timeline from February? What's the next fight that happens in 2020 after that? Where are we? Like, then we hit the Corona. Oh, okay, so, all right. So we had fight.
First, didn't
we had, no, did we not have fight camp first in June? I'm sure we had fight camp in June first. No?
I think Queensbury came first.
Yeah, Queensbury came first, July the 9th. July the 9th was Frank Warren was the first. I think that was the first show, July the 9th.
Yeah, but what fight?
It was top of the bill. Was it Liam Williams? I think it might have been Liam Williams or something like that.
Super middleweight. What is he? Super middle? Liam?
Liam's light middle. Or middleweight. He's middleweight.
Nah, he's middle. Yeah. Well, I skip out on that one because I didn't watch it clearly. I just went to Eddie's fight camp. That's where I was going next. So whoever wants to speak about that fight, maybe you should, Tunde, because you know affiliated.
I can't remember the fight. I didn't even watch the fight.
Well, then it's not even. Did anybody here watch that fight?
That was the Eglinton cheese match fight, wasn't it?
I think for this year in particular.
Yeah.
I think this year in particular, I mean, there's only been highlight fights. You know, the only highlight fights really we can speak about is really obviously the Wilder Fury, and then we had the
Chisora. We had
I was getting to that.
Yeah.
I was getting to that. And then you know, obviously the Chisora, the Daniel Dubois.
So shall we go?
Really.
So shall we go?
Okay.
So we had Teofimo Loma.
Teofimo
let's go.
Dillian White,
Dillian White. So I said the big boys. The big boys. It was the big boys.
Let's go Teo. Or let's go Teo Loma.
You gotta go Dylan. No, you gotta go Dylan
was
first.
Was Dylan first? Was he before Teo?
I'm sure it was. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it was.
Dylan was late. Dylan was November.
I think Dylan was November, and then and there was Teo Loma, and then there was Santa Cruz and Tank, right? All right, coolio. So let's go for Dillian and Povetkin. What I'm going to say about that, I've been quite vocal about that. I've been vocal about it to his brother Dean. That fight was an amazing fight. It didn't last long, but it was still a good fight. It was a massive upset of 2020. You know, that left uppercut. The thing that I was, you know, kept on ranting on about, people keep saying this, or Dillian White's camp saying about, oh, this lucky punch. And I'm trying to tell everybody, no, it's not a lucky punch. This is what Povetkin does, and this is what he do. This is what he does. It's never a lucky punch. Come on. Greatest, one of the greatest, you know, southpaw heavyweights going. That is his go-to move. And so I thought it was a bit worrying that when the camp was saying that this is a lucky punch, and then, you know, well, if you go into the rematch thinking that that's a lucky punch, well, hey, you're just going to get sparked right out again with that lucky punch, you know. So
it need a bit of context, though.
Huh?
Doesn't it need a bit of context? I think when they were talking about it being lucky, in football terms, it was against the runner's play.
No, in run of play. Yeah, in run of
match.
play. Some people want to put it in the run of play title. Dean White said it was in run of play, but I don't think not saying that Dillian himself said it was a lucky punch, but his fan base definitely weren't talking about in no run of no play. They was just like, oh, it was a lucky punch because he dropped him twice in the fourth, XYZ, so that was just lucky. But no, what do you think that Dillian has to do? Like in his commentaries and his interviews, he was saying like he's not really gonna change anything. That's a wrong move for me. If you're not going to change anything, you're going to get the same outcome. So
not necessarily.
No, I strongly disagree. You cannot do the same thing and expect a different outcome. That is the definition of insanity.
You sound like you read a book from Earl Nightingale and just repeated it.
I don't know who else.
I've heard that saying so many times.
Yeah, of course we have. But I don't know who Earl Nightingale is. So no.
Google.
No, I don't need to know who he is. You know why? Because
that's an Albert Einstein quote.
Yeah.
But because that term makes sense.
But
you can't do the same thing and expect a different outcome.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. You can say that, but boxing is littered with examples which show you it's not necessarily the doing a different thing or changing a thing. It's about timing, and it's just about time. You know, as I say, you look at, I don't know, someone like Vladimir Klitschko. He got stopped by Corey Sanders, two combat fights. First fight with the legendary Emmanuel Stewart, he gets knocked out, but keeps confidence in Emmanuel Stewart and ends up being the longest reigning heavyweight champion there is. So he never changed. He stuck with the same great trainer, Emmanuel Stewart, but yet he was knocked out in his first fight with him. So sometimes when people say these quotes, they're just repeating subconsciously what others have said, and that's why I say. Sometimes, and I don't expect, because you're not a trainer, but sometimes when it's like, what has Canelo done different from the defeat of Floyd Mayweather, other than stay in the gym, working his technique, stay with Eddie Reneso, and we don't know. No one sitting here knows what exactly he's done different, or if he's done anything different at all, other than just continue to repeat the same patterns over and over and over again. Dylan is now. Does that mean that Dylan's going to win the rematch? I don't know, but we'll see. I just think that people's too quick.
Yeah, no. When I say he has to do something different, I don't mean he has to reroute his whole plan. Like he has to do everything different. He just has to tweak.
But you see, but prior to the knockout, before the knockout, he was doing everything wrong. So in my what I saw in that fight, it was a lapse of concentration.
So that's what you got to do different. That's what you got to do different. So therefore, you've got to concentrate fully all the way through. That's what you can't afford any lapses.
Okay, so wasn't he doing? So didn't he think he had that in his mind when he went into the fight?
We don't care. He didn't do it. So,
I'll just if I can add this. Because it's interesting, like on my show, we call this an ad lib. I actually agree. I understand what both of you are saying, and I agree. I think Dillian Whyte has a history of having lapses during his fight. That's why he got dropped by Oscar Rivas in the fight he was winning. That he got dropped by Joseph Parker in the 12th round. I think he gets comfortable. He gets too comfortable in the ring, and I think it cost him this time. See, it didn't cost him against Joseph Parker because it was the end of the fight basically. Oscar Rivas, he was able to get up and finish the fight. These are all fights he was winning when he got dropped, and that includes the Povetkin fight. So I don't think it's training. He doesn't need a new trainer. He needs to stay focused the entire fight and not get too comfortable. There
you go. That's what I'm saying.
So that's a change. That's a change.
It's a concentration factor.
Yeah, so he has to work on his concentration.
Absolutely, I agree.
And another thing that I will add to that, like maybe tactically, but yet again, disclaimer out here, I'm not a trainer. He has to realize that that when Povetkin targets the body like religiously, because Povetkin was actually trying to set up that shot the whole fight, he has to read that pattern and almost like you're going to have to be able to block the body shots, but also without dipping your chin way too much, that then it leads to get the uppercut. So you're going to have to, I don't know what the tactics to find that maneuver is, to block there down below, not dipping the chin too much, but obviously you have to when you're blocking body shots. You're going to have to read Povetkin's signs. And if that means that once he's got you in a corner or something and he's hitting you with body blows, then you're going to have to use a bit of ring IQ and use some footwork and get out of his personal space. Because he's setting you, because he's setting you up. This is just how my mind's working.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not a trainer, but I'm just saying it. How would I kind of try and deal with that, knowing the information? I know it's all different when you're the fighter, but I'm just saying I'm being devil's advocate, and I'm just saying that if that was me, knowing what I know, what happened to me previously before, you're going to have to read certain signs of of tactical maneuvers of what his signature move is, and he's going to set you up for that shot by doing a certain pattern. Once you register that pattern, I'm not saying it's easy to execute, by the way, that's why I said a disclaimer. You're going to have to read that pattern and get the fuck out of there, because he's going to set you up for that. You either be able to take the body blows and don't dip, or you get the fuck out. Which one?
Yeah, I hear everything you're saying, but let me tell you this. Boxing is the easiest sport to talk about, but not so easy to do.
But it doesn't discredit. It doesn't discredit us talking. It doesn't discredit analysts talking about it.
But that's what happens when you get a trainer on your thing. You understand? Because I'm looking at it from a trainer point of view. So I'm just telling you that we all can have these game plans, and we can all say we can look at a particular thing and work on it. But when you're dealing with a man's strengths. There is strengths because he's repeated them for a number of years, months. He has actually made that hardware software. So, you may say after 8 weeks, we've been working on this, but you may find when you get in there, it's just a different thing. So it's more about what you do good, focusing on what you do good, and mastering that, as opposed to focusing so much. You may look on a tactical Erica, like what you're saying. He may drop his left hand, he may drop his right hand, and we catch him. But it doesn't always work like that. And I just feel that sometimes, there's certain trainers that can see these things quicker than others and get straight to work and start working it. But then sometimes when you focus so much on someone's positives, you forget about the good things you do. So I just feel that, as my man said, Dillian made the same mistake in the Parker fight. He lost concentration. He lost concentration in the Rivas fight, and he lost concentration in this fight. So, but it's very hard if you start taking certain elements away from Dillian, then you ruin him. Because one thing about Dillian, we know that when he fights, he's going in there to take a man out, and it's worked for him a lot of times. But on the times it hasn't, he's looked vulnerable. So, it'd be a good fight. I'll be looking forward to the rematch, and hopefully he won't make the same mistake again.
Yeah, but Dillian's mad chinny because he's with the uppercut. With the uppercut, we saw it with Anthony Joshua. We've seen it. Like the uppercut is his is the kryptonite to Dillian Whyte. So I'm just waiting for why that cannot be worked on. That's my whole point. Like because that has to be worked on.
Yeah, but this is what I'm trying to say. Certain things will take years to wire into a fighter, and that's why it's obviously something that a fighter can see. That they're gonna go in there, they're gonna say, "Oh, Dylan's vulnerable to the uppercut." But guess what? The fighter might be vulnerable to the uppercut. So it's who lands first in that situation, because Dylan is got, and I know that Xavier, he's not a silly person. He's new to a lot of people, but I'm sure that Dylan and Xavier will sit down with each other and work in it and come back this time, and please God, they get the victory.
Yeah, I hope so as well. I hope so. Big up to Lee.
It's interesting being like a guest, because I see you're back and forth, and it's like I'm observing it like live, and it's like I understand where both of you are coming from, and it's like just to elaborate on what Toonie was saying.
Yeah,
it's very difficult to stop someone when they're really good at something. It looks easy, like you can say, like, "Oh, he keeps throwing a jab, get out of the way of the jab." He's landing it for a reason. He's good at it. Like it's very difficult. Like it's easy to say because I know I played football, basketball, and I boxed. And when I'm on a football field, and I know what play's coming, I know they're giving it to the running back, but he's so hard to stop. Like,
come on,
just tackle him. Just tackle him. Everyone would do it, but it's not easy because of who this person is. And so some people have certain skill sets that they've been working on their whole life. Like, and it's very difficult to stop. Like even Deontay Wilder, with the poorest skill set we've ever seen, can throw a hell of a right hand. Right? And it's easy to say, "Oh, well, don't get hit with the right hand." No one went in that ring.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
You gotta just. Sometimes people are just good, like Joe Joyce with that jab. He kept landing on Daniel Dubois. You think he wanted to get hit with that all night? No, jab. That's just sometimes that just is what it is. But what Mike can do is he can figure out. He can watch the tape. He can watch the plan to avoid it. When he crosses this distance, I'm gonna hold him. When I'm just gonna hold him. For my stuff like that.
Good clinch. Yeah. True.
Good point.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Is it a case of sometimes when you're in the inside fighting that you just have to roll the dice, whether you block the body shot or you block the uppercut that's going to come for your chin?
That's a very good point. Go ahead, Karen. Is you finished that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you have to roll the dice, and if the opponent takes the wrong move, then your chin's going to be vulnerable, isn't it? I think you can't not take these shots. I think it's a bit much to expect him not to take an uppercut.
Absolutely.
Well, take it. Try and take it and don't get knocked out by it.
Absolutely. These are fighters. They're unlike any breed of human beings. You know, they're fighters. You know, and sometimes the fighter takes his business into his own hands. Right. They may have the best thought world out game plan, but in the fighter's mind, he wants to do it his way. You know, I've seen many fights where this happens, and I think the first knockdown with Povetkin, where I think Povetkin was on top of Dylan. I think, and if someone correct me if I'm wrong, I think Dylan threw a counter shot. You know, so he could have been thinking about defense, but at the time, but you never know. Even when he was blocking the body shot, he might have said, "Well, I'm not getting caught with another one of those," and he throws the counter. So it's. I mean, listen, it's different. You hear fighters say all the time, it's different when you're in there. Wow. You know, Callum Smith had the greatest game plan known to man. You know, according to
he's rubbish, man. No, he's rubbish. He's rubbish. I went sleep on that. He's rubbish. I can say it. He's rubbish.
Pros, you've been at many fights.
He's rubbish.
You know what it is. You can see a fight.
So rubbish.
$1 million previously. You know, I think we spoke with Shane Mosley when he fought Antonio Margarita. Right. Yeah, Margarita. You know, I think Shane stopped him in the last round, I think it was. And he had a high punch output. Same like Callum Smith. He had a high punch jab output. But when he got in there with Canelo, it just went down to zero. Because the as you say, the boxing IQ and the downloaded software of the opponent stops you from doing what you ordinarily would do. And this is what you understand what I'm saying? So we're all it's like you see a man in the gym looking like Sugar Ray Leonard. But when he gets in the ring, he looks like Doc Cotton.
He looks like shit. I know.
And Tunde, you can kind of back up, you know, how many muscle man you seen come in the gym, and then when they get to sparring, they get taken out real quick.
And this is it.
You've seen it, man, in the gyms.
It's a beautiful, unique sport, one where we can all look at and we can all give an opinion, and it's great. We all got differences of opinion, but you know, I always look at this sport as it's a magical sport, and I love it because. You know, we always have our post-fight comments. We always have our pre-fight comments. And sometimes, you know, I was there begging for Callum.
My match. I don't know about yours. My one's match. That's why my one's match. Sorry.
But, you know, Callum just couldn't do nothing. Does that make him a rubbish fighter? No, he just came up against a totally different level of fighter.
Well, you know what? We got to give credit to. We got to give credit to Canelo on this one because.
No, you know, Canelo's obviously he's amazing, isn't it? And
yeah. I mean, come on, this is like for me the pound for pound #1 in the world.
Yeah, it's not embarrassing to lose to him, but it's just like, in the way that he lost. But yeah. I mean, look, Canelo's game plan was clear: take away the jab of Callum Smith. He can't utilize the reach. He did that. That's why the bicep injury occurred early in the fight. Boxing IQ, and you know, for those people that are criticizing Callum Smith, well, Canelo's game plan was bang on point. And when you see how the fight, when you see how it ended with his dislocated bicep, then you say, you know what, that's IQ right there, all day long. The game plan was perfect. Because Callum Smith is a good fighter. I've seen him. I think I saw him 4 years ago in the Manchester Arena for the first time, and I think he knocked out Luke Blackidge, and it was a nasty knockout that night. That's the same like Dylan against Chisora. That fight, that build. And I said, this guy's a problem. He's a big super middle, and he's going to be knocking out a lot of guys. And what I have seen about Callum Smith is he has good fundamentals. He's got a good jab, and he's got a good left hook. That's the thing. I said that in analytics.
This Canelo's different. He's different. You know what I'm saying? You've got to just accept that. You know what I mean? It's like Billy Joe ain't got the power of Canelo, but even if Billy Joe, I've seen Billy Joe spar from like 4 years ago. And one of my friends, right, a guy called Manny, he's a sparring partner of Billy Joe. Yeah, he's been sparring Billy Joe from early, and he said, you know what? When this guy's on form, you can't even touch him. You can't even touch him. Yeah. So sometimes
we only see him fight every we only see him fight every 3 years, so that's why you can't touch him. You can't even fight him.
I'd be interested to hear. Sorry, what's my American brother's name?
Cayden.
What's the general perspective, consensus of Billy Joe Saunders in America, and what chances do the Americans feel that Billy Joe Saunders really has? Because over here, people seem to think that Billy Joe's got a very good chance of beating Canelo. But I listened to what's this trainer's name? GGG's Abel Sanchez. Yeah, I heard him say that there's only one fighter in the 168 pounds that could give Canelo problems, and that's Benavidez. What's your take on that, and what are people saying in America?
I think so for starters, I'm from Boston, and Billy Joe Saunders was supposed to fight Demetrius Andrade in Boston, and I was at that fight, and I was so geeked for that fight, and then it ended up not happening because he tested positive for a banned substance, and he said it was nasal spray. And so I bring that up because that's what we think of Billy Joe Saunders in America. We think he's going to find a way to weasel out of every fight. Like it just never happens. So we can't get excited until he's walking to the ring. But talent-wise, I don't know who Billy Joe Saunders is. Like he'll look sensational in a big fight, and then he'll look very average against like lower level competition. Yep. So I think the better the opponent, the better he's gonna be. But if you ask me to pick, I don't think he could beat Canelo because Canelo is coming in with the IQ, with the skill, the talent in every fight. No walk off. And Billy Joe Saunders, 1 minute he's hot, 1 minute he's not. I would have loved to see him fight Demetrius Andrade because that would have told me a lot about both men. Fortunately, it didn't happen. I think Billy Joe Saunders, he gets a lot of love, he has a lot of skills, but until he puts on a master class against a quality opponent, I can't say he's Canelo level.
I'm moving to Boston because I've got the same views. I just don't know how this is so that people over here are gassing him to think he can possibly beat Canelo Alvarez. So
see the problem, Chann,
my mind is like this, blown by this.
You see the problem. The problem with that fight is like Billy Joe against Canelo is you really need to stop Canelo or you need to knock him out. And look, he ain't been down and he don't really get hurt. And also, third, you need to somehow convince the judges 3 things
that you outpoint him, and that's
it's mad. It's hard, but nothing is impossible. Nothing's impossible. But
I'm not saying that Canelo can't be knocked out. He just hasn't. But if you're gonna pick a more likely candidate to knock him out, it's not Billy Joe Saunders.
However, Tunde, right? You remember when he fought Mayweather, right? Okay, he was young at the time. Was he 21, 22 at the time?
23
actually.
Okay, Mayweather schooled him though. Like, that's real. That's real. That was like one of them university lessons. That was schooling.
I know he did. And I know
he still held some ground. He still held some ground, but Mayweather.
In my opinion, I think he won one. I think Canelo won 1 round at most in that fight. That's just my own.
I think it was 2. It was 2.
We got to be careful. We can't be putting Billy Joe Saunders in the same sentence as Floyd Money Mayweather.
Thank you.
That's what I think we say that. But what we can say is that the fight, which a lot of people, not me, I must be honest, feel that Canelo actually was gifted a decision was the
Laura.
Is it the Lara fight?
Yeah,
and I think people make the similarities between the fact that Billy's a southpaw, Lara's a southpaw, and Billy's actually got better footwork than Lara, from what I've seen. I mean, I've seen Billy up since the day that he turned professional, and his footwork at times can be magical. But as my brother Cayden said, we just haven't had an opportunity to see him do that against an A-level fighter, and Canelo would be the top of the tree. It would be wonderful for the gypsy community, for the UK fans, but I don't know. I just wanted to know what the Americans feel about the fight. I haven't seen too much of Benavidez because Benavidez hasn't really fought no top class guys.
He's got COVID now.
And I don't like Benavides because what he done to my boy Jay Leon Love. He broke up Jay Leon. I was hurt when he done that to Jay Leon. But you know, Jay wasn't they weren't taking the sport seriously. I think Jay is a victim. He got money too soon. But yeah, I mean, we got some interesting.
I said it in my commentary that BJS should fight Andrade.
Yeah, because they're both avoided guys, really, and I think they don't really bring nothing to the table in terms of marketing. I think the Zone's done a great job in promoting both of them thus far. But yeah, I would like to see. Billy was asking for the GGG fight. You know, all these fights, they're super fights for our British guys. And but you never know. Tyson Fury done something that no one thought he could do, albeit against a guy that didn't really have the technical ability I think needed to be a
skill set.
But yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Leon, want to add? You want to tap in? Tap in.
Yeah, I know you're not. I know you're not a Billy Joe Saunders fan.
No.
Yeah, you know that. Oh, Billy's good, man. I'm telling you. Billy's good. I'm telling you that.
Yeah, he's good, but he just shouldn't be mentioned in the same breath as Canelo.
No, but I just think he has maybe he's he's guilty. He's his biggest problem because I think he's had the opportunities. The Andrade's fight would have been that would have told us a lot. That would have told us a lot.
And he doesn't really keep fight ready even when he hasn't got a fight plan. So that's one of his other downfalls as well.
Absolutely.
Go, Lee.
I just think with Billy Joe Saunders, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. With the failed drugs test, the fight with Canelo that got cancelled because of COVID, and then just the difficulty in getting fights in general. And plus his social media antics that have got him in trouble as well.
Yes.
So it's kind of really disrupted what could have been a promising career. And I think it's a shame that it seems like in the middleweights, they're trying to hold their own for that Canelo fight and not take a few risks and have some good fights. Because I think if you take a risky fight and you lose, it doesn't necessarily mean that your value has to go down. Like, you lose you're losing to a good opponent in a good fight.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, it's been a bit too much. It's been a horrible combination of things for Billy Joe.
But this is sometimes the downfall in certain boxing matches and fights that promoters do. Like, you've got to try and put the fighter that you're promoting the best possibility of winning. I think some of the matchmaking sometimes that happens is very off, and it just almost looks very like sabotage. And just because you got Canelo at the top there doesn't mean that Billy Joe Saunders is supposed to fight him and obviously lose and then go, yeah, well, he fought Canelo. He was, it's not bad that he lost. No, but how about you just wait until you actually are of some kind of level before you fight Canelo? And then at least if you do fight him, people can say, you know what, he was a fucking great fight. He deserved to be fighting Canelo and he lost to a greater boxer. I don't give a fuck about a belt.
Well, listen, Billy may go down as Billy may go down as one of the greatest salesmen ever because he's saying you can't do to me what you've done to other fighters.
Oh, all right.
That's what Billy's saying. Billy's saying that, listen, if you want that fight, I've got the belt. You give me time. I don't care if you're the number one. And good on him for sticking it because look, Callum Smith is always going to have that excuse that he only had 4 weeks notice. He's got that in the locker. He can say that. He can say that, I tried my best, but I never had the right preparations. Billy's saying that I don't care about that. I won't sell out my soul for money. I want the correct time. Joe Kazagi was like that as well.
Right.
Tunde, right? With this 4 weeks notice, right? Surely in a pandemic, that's a factor. I'm not being funny because we've been proper lockdown. And more so up north, they've been proper lockdown. So I don't know where Canelo's been training, but Callum probably never had access to the sparring.
That's his business. No one told him to accept the fight.
It's a fact. No, it's a
We
factor.
can't use that as an excuse. You didn't have it.
I have a question for you.
Let me get there. Let me get there.
That excuse about losing the Fury, and let's say
No,
it was
no.
the
You
same
know what?
thing, what would you say?
No, I'm not saying that Canelo went the favorite. All I'm saying is preparation also is a factor, right? I'm not making excuses for Callum. I don't know the guy, all right? I'm just saying that, you know, in the gym, right? Anyone who's boxed at any level, right? When you're training and when you're sparring, it's two different things. Yeah,
Absolutely.
You think that you're fit, you think you're ready. When you start sparring with proper guys,
It's a mental
different.
sport. Not only that, it's a mental sport, and the mental preparation as opposed to the physical preparation is the most important thing. And Canelo, but that's what comes with being the A side. You know, you pick it, but you have a choice as a fighter whether you take it or not. So Billy's like, all right, cool. Even if I get beaten up, I want to get beaten up knowing that I've been given the best. And you know, Billy's got money, so that was a great payday for Callum. It was you know, big risk, big reward, and no one's saying that he could have won the fight. That maybe if he had more preparation, as you say, Pro Beeze, things could have been slightly different. Because I'm struggling to give Callum a round in that fight. I don't know who, you know, if anyone gave him a round. I don't know, but maybe
I could check my card.
I think I'd stretched it for maybe stretched it for one.
You know, I'm gonna keep it there. I'm not making excuses. What I'm saying is, Canelo's got, as well as being as a brilliant fighter, right? Pound for pound, number one. He's got other factors as well on his side. So what I'm saying is, you need to overcome a number of factors if you have a realistic, chance of beating him. Just not in the ring, you know. It's other stuff as well. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
That's all I'm saying. You got to knock down a lot of factors.
He earned the right to do that, and that's why you can't wrong him. But then at the same time, Billy's saying, Billy's, and I keep telling people, don't mess about with the Irish gypsy luck. I'm telling you, don't mess about with it. Remember, I said it here first, Chann. Don't mess about with the Irish gypsy luck.
Yeah, we know it.
I don't care on paper. I don't listen. I said it the other day. Fights ain't won on paper. Fights are won in the ring. And as Pro Beeze just said, there's a number of factors that can be a big part in this fight.
Right.
You know, and we don't know. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's easy work for Canelo. But all I'm saying is, don't underestimate, because I don't think I've ever seen Billy hurt. No, that's a lie. He got rocked when he fought in the stadium, Hertfordshire.
Yeah, we were there. Remember that night?
Yeah. And I was like, fam.
We actually sit next to each other.
Yeah.
Listen, he didn't.
Go on his bike.
Like Billy Joe Saunders is one of those fighters. His performance depends on who he's fighting. I hate fighters that are like that. Like, you should just always just be sick or shit or whatever you are. Just be consistent. You're either sick every fight, or obviously you have your off days, or you're not a good fighter in any fight anyway, and that's why you're a shit fighter. But when he fought Murray, that was appalling.
Okay.
That was appalling.
For a long time.
I don't care. And then you want to put him in the same breath.
No chill, Chann. No chill.
You guys are blowing my fucking mind. Martin Murray retired after that. Martin Murray is a great fighter, but he was retiring after that. And Billy Joe Saunders couldn't even get him out of there. And you lot are talking about Canelo. Stop it. Anybody says that and comes through that on my stream, I'm blocking you.
But you don't have to.
That's how offended I am.
You don't have to be a knockout fighter to win.
No,
when he lost to Floyd outpointed him. Austin Trout gave him a very close fight. Some people feel like Trout won that fight because of his boxing ability. Azandi Lara was a split decision, and a lot of people feel like Azandi Lara beat him. Daniel Jacobs had success against Canelo using boxing ability. So I think a lot of people see a slick boxer as being the biggest threat to Canelo, and they look at Billy Joe Saunders and they see that skill set in him when he's at his best, and that's why some people think he can beat Canelo.
Cayden. Yeah, I hear you, Cayden. But there's levels to this shit. There's levels.
Billy might be able to hit that level. That's what people feel.
Like, all right, if he could fight Canelo and outpoint him, cool, because we don't expect him to go in the ring and knock Canelo out. So has he got a great enough skill set to win a fight in that way? Cool. When you're fighting Martin Murray, that's 39 years old, with a fucked up shoulder, on the verge of retirement, you're supposed to knock him out. You're not supposed to go. You're not supposed to go 12. You're not. We don't want to see 12 rounds of that shit.
I think you're being a bit unfair because
no. We don't want to see 12 rounds of that. We don't want to see 12 rounds of that.
Chann, I know you don't want to see it, but let's be a bit, fair to Martin Murray. Martin Murray in 60 feet is.
I am being fair to Martin Murray. That's the whole thing. Martin Murray is the G. Billy J ain't.
Said Martin Murray in 60 feet has only been stopped once, and that's by GGG. You got to give him credit. He's tough. He sticks in there. You understand? He can do that. So yes, we know that Billy Joe didn't look impressive. We know that he's 39 years old, but you still can't get over the fact that the only man that's ever stopped Martin Murray is GGG.
Okay,
and,
so
we're talking about the top guys.
I'm not degrading Martin Murray. I'm just telling it as it is. It's facts. Like I said, Martin Murray was a great fighter. Fighter. But the Martin Murray that BJS got was a declining Martin Murray with a shoulder injury, 39 years old. That Martin Murray that he got, if he got Martin Murray of yesteryear, then you wouldn't even hear me saying this. But the Martin Murray that you got and you still had to go to, it went to points, right? I watched the fight. I can't even remember. It did go to points because I did commentary on it. He should have got him out of there a long time ago. He should have. And that gives more props to Martin Murray than to Billy Joe Saunders. This is my whole point. So this is why I don't understand why he's still in the same conversation as Canelo. Can he really outpoint Canelo? He can't knock him out. Has he got a great enough skill set to knock out Canelo? Has he got a better ring IQ than Canelo? He doesn't obviously box using the sweet science technique. Let's have it right. So where are we going? This is 4 avenues that he can't win.
Listen, Leon, Cayden, pros, answer that, please. Answer Chann, because I'm not on it.
I would say you can't say he can't knock him out because anyone can knock anybody out. The right punch landed at the right time. It's unlikely based on his past performances that he would knock him out. Outpointing Canelo, he might be able to do it. I'm telling you. Even Amir Khan was outboxing Canelo until he got knocked out.
Yeah. No, I listen. Sorry, brother. Just sorry, Cayden, to cut you there. Right. I was rich time for that fight. I've had this argument with so many people. Amir Khan were outboxing nothing. All Canelo was doing was just picking one shot around. That's all he was doing. He was just picking. I was there with my own eyes. I saw it. And I keep on having this argument
around him.
I keep on having this argument with people that they're telling me that Khan was outboxing Canelo. No, he weren't. Canelo was just staying patient. He's the bigger man. All I need to do is just land one body shot per round. And that's what he done. And by the 6 or whatever round, the fight was over. He was outboxing nothing. He let him outbox him. Anyway, but carry on.
Sorry, can we just say bye to Pro because Pro's got to go because he's got some other commitments that he has to do. So just. Thanks, Pro, so much for coming.
It was a
Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year, Pro. You see, if I didn't bring you in, Pro, you wouldn't even have got in. Because Chann, she's an argumentative woman that was.
No, you know what? We've got to do this again. You know what? We've got to do this again. This is not over. We've got to do this again. Yeah. So Chann, we need to understand up here.
I'll line it, reline it up. I will.
Evening.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah.
We'll do it. Don't worry. Say nothing.
Right.
Say nada.
What's
See you
up,
later,
everyone,
bro.
yeah?
I'll chat to you later. See ya.
Take care.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, Cayden. Go as you were.
Also, I'll tell you a name. Jose Cotto.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Rocked Canelo
Yes, sir.
so bad, and the ropes held him up.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
saying,
Yeah, the ropes held him up.
My point is,
Yes.
no one is invincible. Is all I'm saying.
No,
Anyone who bleeds can be hurt. And
Right.
so,
But having said that, I think that was Canelo's first fight in the US. He was young. He was, it's Miguel Cotto's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, a lot of people were saying that he dropped, but we know he didn't drop. The ropes did.
Well, the ropes held him up.
The ropes held him up. That's
what seen that.
Well, hold him up.
He's a human being. He can be dropped. He can be stopped. He can cut.
He can be dropped. He can be dropped by just not by Billy Joe Saunders.
I believe Canelo would beat Billy Joe Saunders, but Billy Joe Saunders has
I can't hear nothing.
That wouldn't shock me if he somehow won on points.
Really? Yeah. I don't think BJS can outpoint Canelo. Can you hear us, T? T can't hear us. He's having T. I don't know.
We can hear him, but he can't hear us.
We
His
can hear
battery
you.
might have died in the headphones.
Maybe your batteries. We can hear you. Let me text him. On live technicalities. This is how we do. Now my phone just wants to stay frozen. Is he probably texting me? Oh, my phone is moving. Why is this happening? It won't let me into my own WhatsApp. Oh, there it is. Yeah. He's gonna come out and go back in. All right, cool. So, DJ Cranium, to beat Canelo, you need to knock him out. Facts. Nobody's getting a points win against Canelo. I'm with you, my G.
Didn't we say this about Lomachenko though?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. True. We're gonna move on to that in a minute, actually, because that will be I think that is the next one. Is it? Yeah. That's the next one that we're gonna discuss anyway. But what I'm saying is, it's not that he cannot be knocked out. It's not. I'm not saying that he cannot be outpointed. I'm just saying it's just at this level, Billy Joe Saunders isn't the guy that's going to be able to
I just get the feeling you're not impressed with Billy Joe Saunders. That's
I'm so not. I'm so not, Cayden. I'm so not. I'm not here for it at all. I just deal with realism, and I just think people are just in a deluded state of bliss.
It's some of his out of the ring antics that have put you off of him as well.
What, he's offline? Oh, he's out of ring antics, and he's on.
Does that put you off of him as well?
No, that just puts me off of him as a person. I could separate the person then to the boxer. Definitely. I'm not a biggest. I don't really like Tyson Fury as a person, but I can still see his pros and what he does in the ring. But I don't really like him. Yeah. Can you hear us now, T?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
All right, cool. Yeah, we can hear you.
Good.
All right,
I'm listening. You know, but I'm telling you, I would really want this fight to happen. Billy Joe Saunders against Canelo.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I would.
I think it'll be an interesting fight. I think.
Yeah, it will be a very interesting fight, and
I would
don't
like
underestimate Billy. Billy's up there.
So when are they saying that's going to happen? I don't know.
Yeah, they're saying that Canelo's got 2 fights.
May or
Billy
something.
Does he want to fight his mandatory before May?
Yeah, no, they're saying that for May, but Canelo's fighting, I think, in February or March, something.
So we get his mandatory in February.
It's mandatory. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, we're moving on swiftly to Teofimo Lopez and Vasyl Lomachenko. Right, so that was a mad up because I predicted that. Yeah, I predicted definite Loma on points. Couldn't have got it more wrong because Matrix Man doesn't really go out like that. But Matrix Man went out like that. He started way too late. He lost. He gave away about, if I remember correctly, 6-7 rounds. And yeah, it was. I don't understand what Lomachenko entered the ring. I don't know if it was his arrogance, his sheer arrogance made maybe think that, yeah, he's got this. I just don't know where his head at. Then he's just turned into a bloody Deontay Wilder now as well. It's just even more wild to me. I'm just like, what the hell is going on? But hey, like, let's hear you guys' take. We'll start with Tunde.
No. I want to hear Cayden.
Oh, let's start with Cayden. Tag your it.
I scored the fight 115, 113 for Lopez. In my opinion, the fight was on the table in the last round, and I thought Teofimo Lopez showed tremendous heart in making sure that he took that round. And I think that's the round that solidified it for me. Yeah. I thought I gave the first round to Lopez. I gave the second round. I gave the second round to Vasily Lomachenko, and then I gave 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to Teofimo Lopez. In that moment, I was thinking, is he hoping that Lopez gasses out? Yeah. Is he so arrogant? He just feels like he's going to land a perfect shot. I don't know. But what I can say is 8, 9, 10, 11, I gave to Vasily Lomachenko. And then in the 12th round, Teofimo Lopez stopped the bleeding, and he stopped the streak by winning the 12th. In my mind, it was a fight of waves. Like, you had a series of rounds that went to Lopez, a series of rounds that went to Teofimo, and for me, I think Vasily Lomachenko and Papachenko, as they call them, they didn't adjust soon enough. Once Vasily Lomachenko started taking the risk, he started winning rounds.
Right.
I think he should have taken the risk earlier. Again, I don't know what type of steam was on Teofimo Lopez punches early on. I don't know. But I felt like he started too late. I think the decision was right. I think it was I think it deserves a rematch. But the right guy won.
You think it deserves a rematch? And on what basis?
Well, for me, like I told you, the fight was on the table in the 12th round. So for me, that always deserves a rematch. Like, I think if Vasily Lomachenko wins the 12th round on my scorecard, it's a draw, and then we'll be talking about a rematch anyway. So I do feel like it deserves a rematch. You can't tell me, like I've heard several channels take on it. You can't tell me that was an easy fight for Teofimo Lopez. You can't tell me.
No, it wasn't easy. No,
it wasn't.
No. Well, if they rematch, who do you think would take it?
I think it's 50-50 to tell you the truth, because Teofimo Lopez did win the early rounds, but once Vasily Lomachenko started taking risk, he did win a lot of rounds in a row, which isn't his normal strategy. So you have to think from round 13, he knows something, kind of like how Tyson Fury figured it out against Deontay Wilder. So now you're going to round 13, and he found some ways he can have success. It doesn't mean that Teo's not going to, but remember, towards the end of that fight, it was trending Vasily. So I think we can say whatever we want. I think they should have a rematch, and you just beat the guy who had 3 belts.
Yep.
Last I checked, that deserves a rematch. I don't know. I could be wrong though.
I get you. Yeah. We've had rematches for less. So yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Lee?
Definitely, I think the rematch would be really good. I think with Lomachenko, you got the same problem you have with Tyson Fury. Beating him once is enough, but to be able to beat them again, I think with them two, you're going to need to be able to beat them in 2 different ways. And I think if Lomachenko gets the rematch, he's not going to hold back, and he's just going to go toe to toe like he did from round 7 or 8, and just keep going. I don't think he'll allow that chess playing, downloading stuff going on, but because he's already been in the ring with him, so he won't have to.
Right.
So I think it'd be another exciting fight, and it will probably be a bit surprising. It might not go the way that we expected, like the last one did.
I didn't think that was an exciting fight, though. I thought it was boring, but I mean, I still enjoyed it.
I enjoyed that.
I wouldn't say it was exciting though, but it was a bit more. It was because of what I expected Loma. Yeah, because it's Loma, and you want to see him do his matrix moves, and and that's what you.
I was more looking at Lopez, I was more looking at Lopez, where he was just.
I literally wasn't at first. Like I was like, oh, Loma's got this. He's gonna. But then when I saw how Teofimo, how Leo looked, I mean, Teofimo Lopez, not Leo. Sorry, I'm already on the Santa Cruz fight. Sorry, in my head. How he looked. I'm looking at thinking how he looked. He was massive compared to He's definitely going to be having to go up a weight, Cat. He's definitely going to be having to go up to 140. He's massive. Teofimo. He was massive. I just don't think Loma. But that means nothing because the way Loma beat my man that's fighting today, tomorrow, beat Campbell. It doesn't matter about height and weight. Loma's Loma. He seems to, he can outpoint you, and it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I just thought that would maybe have, when I saw Teofimo, I thought that would give him the maybe the edge. But I don't think it did give him the edge. But I just thought we just saw an off-par Lomachenko. I don't know why, but I just think it was. I just think it wasn't a good day at the office. That's all. Tunde?
Well, like Cayden saying, 115, 113. Mm-hmm. The last round was the telling factor in the fight. Absolutely. Being a trainer and a manager myself, if I was Teofimo and his dad, you ain't getting no rematch. I'm just telling you that.
Too much to beat them twice in a row.
You ain't getting that. Like, I've just come up and beat, in some people's eyes, the number one pound for pound fighter in Lomachenko.
Right.
The contract was a bit dodgy for Teofimo before the fight.
Right.
Nothing was in his favor. And he took the risk. And the reason why I had Teofimo winning that fight all day is just because what he done to Richard Comey.
Oh, man.
I know Richard, and that is a tough African.
Yeah. Remember you said that. Tough fat. You said that.
That is a tough African. And he destroyed Richard. He destroyed Richard. So I said, yeah, this kid is the truth. And I always knew, I've said it, and a lot of people have jumped down my throat. I've never really rated Lomachenko the way everyone rates him. Because I'm saying, yeah, you're doing all this matrix, but this ain't the matrix. This is boxing. This is boxing. And to me, Luke Campbell really showed the dents in what you were as a fighter, because he wasn't impressive against Luke Campbell. Right. And I feel that if Luke Campbell was a real puncher, he could have done damage to Lomachenko in that fight. I think he lost it unanimously, but I think that was a bit unfair to Luke. But from that fight, and then obviously Teofimo doing what he done to Richard Comey, I said, nah, it ain't gonna go the way people think it was going. And I was right, but it was so close, as Cayden said. It does warrant a rematch, but I feel that
I wouldn't give him one. Neither
no, and Teofimo and his dad deserve to make some real money. Right. And guess what? If you do want a rematch, I'm gonna ask for some phenomenal amount of peas.
Oh, P, yeah.
Because I took the risk. Right. Devon fought old Gamboa. But you know what? I was thinking about that today, and I was saying to myself, again, sometimes I don't think people really think about what they're saying. Devin Haney's a young kid, and he's been in the ring with Gamboa now. Regardless of what Gamboa is, he's taken that experience. Because he shared a ring with Gamboa, he's taken that experience, and that's massive for young Devin. Cause I've been in the gym. I've said it before. We were staying in Vegas, in Devon's house. Me and his dad, Bill. So I know them well. And Devon is a young kid. He's had to mature because he's in the spotlight. But still, that's smart matchmaking. And it's very smart. I don't feel Devon should get in a ring with Teofimo at this moment in time. I think
that's another whole debate.
Yeah, I think Teofimo is a much more, accomplished, being that he's just beaten Lomachenko. But yeah, it was a good fight. It does deserve a rematch. I don't think he should give it to him. I think he should, make some money with a belt, have a couple of. I don't know what the mandatories and all that situation is, but let the kid and his father, because they hadn't made that much money. prior to that fight.
Well, we'll get onto a topic about that.
Yeah,
same
so let's get some money, and he's good for boxing, Teofimo, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Here comes the Grinch of boxing here. Just with the Devin Haney thing and the Gamboa thing. Come on, Tunde. Come on. You got a one-legged Gamboa, old enough to be his father, 18 years his senior. Wasn't that an impressive win? Let's just
Gamboa is not a joke fighter. I don't care.
We know he's not a joke fighter, but he entered the ring as a joke.
Let me tell you something.
He entered the ring fucked up. He was on one leg. You saw it. He was on one leg. You saw it. Because me and you
hard to impress ladies.
Tunde knows. Because we spoke about this, and I was Gamboa's leg was fucked.
But what I'm saying is that Gamboa, so Gamboa against Tank, there was some. Tank had some. I mean, Gamboa had some success in that fight, right, Cayden?
He lasted a long time with his injured leg.
But it took him till what, 11, 12
How about this? Oh, Lady Shoon, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I saw Gamboa fight Terrence Crawford, and I actually had Gamboa winning.
Yep.
Fight.
Yep.
He got knocked out.
Yep.
I saw again. Watch that fight again. You cannot tell me Gamboa was not winning that fight. Gamboa was winning that fight.
I'm
knocked out. Watch it, and I promise you, Gamboa was winning that fight when he got knocked out by Terrence Crawford. Gamboa on one leg in a messed up shoe survived Tank, and you saw what Tank just did.
Yeah.
So Devin Haney wasn't the most impressive performance, but I think for two reasons. One, I think Devin doesn't know how to flip the switch yet, and it's with time. Like if you play like basketball and you're like a point guard, you got to know you distribute, you're trying to set up the offense, but sometimes you got to take the shot. And
there you go.
You need to find that balance of when I need to take over and when I need to pass the ball and when I need to set people up, right? I think Devin doesn't know the balance between being defensive, pot shot, and then going for the kill, because I feel like he knew that he would have got Gamboa out of there. Right?
Yes,
more to get him out of there. But the second issue I think in that fight was Devin posted a picture of him as a kid with a professional Gamboa.
Yeah,
he's been in the gym with Gamboa. I think it's a passion factor.
Yeah, I saw it.
You don't always see. It's like I could beat up my brother, but I can't kill my brother. So it's like
it was psychological.
All that playing in that fight as well.
Just to say that's so interesting, because obviously I said that we stayed with Bill and Devon and the family, and in their gym, because their gym was, I think, Sean Porter's gym now, if I'm not mistaken. So Bill and Devon had the Fight Factory, which was just off the strip in Vegas, and I remember in the gym there were all these pictures with Devon as a young kid. And even when I was there, Devon was still young. Devon was about 15 or so. And every day he was sparring with these guys. But then the same thing is what I've seen with Teofimo. I'm seeing all these pictures come up with these great champions and everything. So these young kids have got great experience, and they're getting some. It's good. That's a good point. That's a very, very good point about the Gamboa factor.
Yeah. What do you think, Lee? Lee is always go on, big it up, go on.
I'll just try to be fair where it's fair. What is Devin? What are we talking about? Devin Haney?
We're talking about
the
Teofimo. We went on to the Devin Haney as like a offshoot, but cover whichever ones that you want to in that bracket.
Yeah, when it comes to Devin Haney, I think he's being a bit harshly criticised for the opponents. But to me, he was calling out Lomachenko and he's willing to get in the ring with him. He was calling out Lomachenko when he had the belts, and Lomachenko went for the Lopez fight. Fair enough, that was Lomachenko's choice. But I don't see what else Haney can do other than fight the guys doing. Now he's got his two mandatories. I think if we're saying he's not ready for Lopez, but he he seems to think he is, because he's calling it out. I don't know if he's just calling it out for the sake of it, but he's calling him out
That's
same way he was
market.
calling out, same way he was calling out Lomachenko. But I do, personally, I can't see him beating either of them.
Yeah, but how did you see the Haney and Gamboa fight? Because that is a part of this year's boxing schedule. So
I think Gamboa used all his skills as a veteran to not allow himself to get hurt. I mean, it made people question Haney's power.
But no, I knew Gamboa. I didn't think Haney was going to be able to knock him out. Anyway, I said that in my pre-fight analytics. That wasn't going to happen.
It's hard though, because it came after the Leo Santa Cruz fight with such an explosive win.
Yeah.
For him to put on that kind of dull performance, when you stand him in contrast, it made it look so much worse.
Right.
And it's kind of made him kind of like the stepchild of the division now, because he's had the most unattractive performance and he hasn't had the most tough fight.
Right.
So it's really pushed him down the pecking order now, and it's going to be. But as Tunde was saying, it's probably working out best for him. It might keep him away from those fights a bit longer, give him the time he needs. So because I don't think at the moment he beats Lomachenko or Lopez.
No way.
Neither do I. But hey, so what did you think of the overall of the Teofimo and the Lomachenko fight? Was you shocked what happened?
I had a belief after the Comey fight, and then just the way the Lopezes were talking, his dad in particular.
Yeah.
He had such a belief in his son, and his son had such a belief. And then when I saw him like just tear up Comey, I just thought he'd reached another level. I actually thought he was going to get a knockout. I thought my prediction was a Lopez knockout, and then I was just even more impressed that he got a deserved point win. I had him up by 2, but I was just even more impressed.
Yeah.
And I think the fight was exciting. I think that he had the chess match for the first few rounds, and then it got a bit dirty. I think Lomachenko got in the headbutt. They went for a brawl for the second half of the fight. I think the fight kind of had a bit of everything, other than some knockdowns. It had a bit of everything.
I think I had the fight if I remember correctly. I can't find my other notepad that I scored it on. I think I had it Lopez 8-4. I had it 8-4. I had it 8-4. Yeah, I had it 8-4. I had it Lopez clearly winning. I didn't have it as tight as every. I'm saying that now I'm just saying that, but maybe I did have it a bit closer than that. Maybe I had it 7-5. You know, maybe I did have it 7-5. Maybe I did have it 7-5. Craig, here you go. Here he goes.
Come on.
Right, Craig. Merry Christmas to you, Craig. All right, so we are moving down the timeline. So after that, we are going to go. Let's go to Santa Cruz and Tank Davis. We shall start with you, Cayden.
So I'm not a Leo Santa Cruz fan. Trill Dollar Bill on my show. He loves him. He swears by him. But to me, I don't like seeing like that style of throwing a lot of punches and nobody getting knocked out. Nobody looks like they're getting hurt. Like, I'm just not a big fan of that. So I see Leo Santa Cruz land like 5 punches in a row and the guy's still standing there and he doesn't. I'm like, what is this? Yes. But I was actually impressed with Leo Santa Cruz. I felt like he held his own until he got knocked out. It was the best that I've seen him because, like I told you, I was not impressed with him. And going in, I thought he would get knocked out, and he got knocked out. So I could easily come up and say, like, oh, that's what I expected. But he did better than I thought he would. I think he made Tank uncomfortable at times. I think Tank Davis did what he was supposed to do. He set up a beautiful shot, landed perfectly, lights out. So it was a better fight than I thought.
I in my predictions, I was like, it was like 60-40 to Tank. I said, yeah, it's going to be by probably way of knockout. But I do like Santa Cruz myself, and so I'm with Trill Dollar Bills on that one. I am with him on that one. But what I saw, like you said, he made it uncomfortable for Tank. I've been saying that. And some people have shot me down for saying it. Oh, where did you see that he made Tank uncomfortable? He did. Like that fight, before the knockout, that fight was close. If you were scoring it, that fight was close. That fight was close. It wasn't a clear win for Tank. At one point, Tank looked over at Floyd. You know, Floyd got up and over the crowd like, boo. Like, Tank looked like, what else shall I do? Like, you know, like I'm throwing him the bag. I'm doing everything. Because as much as we love Tank, and Tank has to develop his skill set. He's not the best skilled boxer. He reminds me of like a mini Wilder. He's got a great southpaw. So he's got the great.
He has way more skills than Wilder. Come on now.
No.
Everybody's gonna fire you down now.
No, you listen. No, you listen now. You listen, Shem.
You listen. You can't come in there and say Javante ain't got skills.
No. I didn't say he hasn't got skills. I said his skill set has to develop. No, he reminds me of in the same breath of a Deontay Wilder. All right, he's got more skills, but I think he relies more on the left hand to do the damage, because I saw that within the Santa Cruz fight. Like, yeah, he did show skills. No, I'm not. But I just think Santa Cruz has got an actually better skill set than him, in my opinion. But obviously Tank has the knockout punch. So I feel that he's more been crafted to rely a bit more on that knockout punch. And that's why I give him the little mini Wilder. Maybe that might be a bit harsh, but I'm not actually saying he hasn't got any skills or techers like Wilder hasn't. But I just think the reliability of his explosive power with the knockout with the left hand is what he's been reliant on. And watching that fight, he looked like he had run out of all options, and that's why he looked at like Floyd and was like, "What else do I do?" Do you know what I mean? And that's And then he managed to. I always had him winning, but I said it was 60-40. But yeah, he pulled it out the bag. But yeah, that's where I stand with that. So, nah, it's New York.
We kind of agree with you, just apart from the
Wilder analogy.
No. But the part where you say Javante is not skilled, he's a very skilled fighter, very accomplished. Wait, Chann. I know what you're saying, but we don't.
He had no skills.
But when you talk about Tank, just forget that whole skill thing out of it, because the young man is skilled. The young man's skilled, and the young man can fight, and the young man can punch, he can box, he can do everything. He's exciting, and I think what we have to do is also take into consideration all these aforementioned names: Tiafimo, Garcia, Devon, and Javante. They're still very young.
Yeah, I know.
You know, these kids are young, and these kids are gonna develop into even better fighters.
That's what I said.
The fact that they're all operating at this level, at this stage of their careers, I think shows a lot for their teaching. They've all been treated, but I'm like Cayden. I don't like this throw a million punches and no one ain't going nowhere. You're like, bro, I'm not on that. I want to see excitement. I want to see a KO. I want to see, or you're just jabbing. No, man, I don't want to. It's not.
I like Santa Cruz.
We like Mike Tyson because we got the KO, and that's. Yeah. I think that's generally what boxing fans want to see. They want to see someone. Unfortunately, you know, I always said, the objective of boxing is to render your opponent unconscious.
Right.
And that's it.
Ain't
nothing else. Ain't no look pretty for 12 rounds. Right. That's not what I'm spending $199 on the zone every month for. Yeah. I don't want to see that. I want to see a knockout. So
what round was it? He got it about 6 or 7.
Yeah, Tank brings that. I mean, listen, you know, what he done to Pedraza was very, very impressive as well. You know, Tank Davis. And even on our shores, Liam Walsh is a good fighter, a skilled fighter, and you know, in my face, I see him just take out a 21-0 Liam Walsh like he wasn't even there.
Nothing,
So
yeah.
you don't even do that against someone.
But is that? Would you say that's due to skill set, or is it because of the?
Oh yeah, definitely. Listen, we can all look like Sugar Ray Leonard if we're fighting, I don't know, some amateur boxer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know how it is. You know, Cayden and Figures can back me on this. Bro, you watch a little tape of boxing, go in and you take your son to the gym. Your son thinks you're the best. Your son thinks you're Sugar Ray Leonard. You understand what I'm saying? So, it's different. So when you see a fighter do that against a skilled fighter, you can't say, oh, no, I'm not saying you did say that, but you can't say they're not skilled.
Sorry,
because,
Chann, you're wrong.
Yeah. only a skilled fighter can do that to another skilled fighter. So yeah, so that's great. I think, yeah, I mean, I agree with my brother Cayden. You know, the fight was as advertised. Leo done far better than what most people done, because that was very smart matchmaking. That was Floyd Mayweather-esque matchmaking.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
You take the 2 belts, 2 weight divisions, fam, it just sounds good.
Yeah,
and, you know, it's about numbers. You know,
Nigel, can I just clarify, Nigel, yet again? I didn't say Tank had no skills and no power. I said he's got to work on his skill set a bit more.
He's got skills.
I think he just relies a lot more on his power more than his skill set. So it kind of just reminded me, you know, like Deontay Wilder has his amazing right hand. Tank has his amazing left hand. That is what I said. Okay, Nigel?
But there was a lot of skill he used in unleashing that left hand. To
exactly. But did he stop?
Yeah, the combo was a mad one. The combo was a mad one of how he knocked out Santa Cruz, because it was a combination of punches. And I give him that. Yeah. All right. Sometimes you've got to watch. You know, I haven't seen that fight since I watched it, and sometimes you have to watch fights back again. You know, 2, 3, 4 times. And then you see different things that you didn't see the first time, you know, especially when you're scoring a fight, like, and you miss some of the other bits when you're just about, this round 1, let me catch up. Like, sometimes you just got to watch a fight without scoring it, and you get to see things in a different kind of
I don't enjoy it as much when I'm scoring it.
I don't enjoy it as much when I'm scoring it. And then sometimes I fall behind them scoring. I'm like, oh my God, we're in round 10. Stop scoring that round 7. Like, yeah, because I've got so enthralled in the fight.
I always for the big fights, because what I don't want is like the bias after. Like after the result comes in, or like listening to commentary. So when it's a big fight, I want to know what was my original thought. Then if I go back and look at it, I want to see like where I split. So I do score. To me, it doesn't take away, because it's like, who do you think won the round at the end of the day?
Yeah.
9 and less knockdown, or you feel like, so to me, I just program myself like immediately, and I use this app.
I need to get that app. Someone's telling me about it. It's on iPhone. What is it called?
Well, I'm gonna look for it right now. I think it's called. Hold on. It's called Fight Score. Also with this app, I could see everyone who's scoring the fight. I can see how they scored the rounds too. So
sick. Now I tell you, we need to get that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that, because I was impressed of the way you was just going back to scorecards. I was like, bro, is this, have we got another master knowledge Spencer Fearon in the building?
He's quite.
I'm not saying I'm Spencer Fearon, but I got him lined up, ready to go.
Cayden's quite organized. That's what I do like about Cayden. Cayden is mad organized. Cayden, do you watch it with the commentary on? Do you prefer to watch fights with commentary on?
Only because I feel like I know enough not to be swayed by the commentary. So I want to see if they're being biased. I want to see. I watched so many fights where I felt like the commentary was biased. Like, for example, although I was watching Canelo, I felt like it was biased commentary from Brian Kinney towards Canelo. I felt like, you know, there was biased commentary. I'm actually in the Anthony Yard and Lyndon Arthur fight, but
we're gonna get to that.
But so I listen and I decide whether or not I feel like the commentary was fair. So like, I rate the whole thing, because if I hear someone like Brian Kinney say that Canelo really wasn't champion at 175, then I'm like, that hater, and then I'm coming for that person. So
I agreed. we'll get to the where are you two?
I just gonna get my charger.
He said a second. He gave you the finger.
I think Theo showed all of us that Tank. This is Bo from Greek Boxing, by the way. Big up, Bo. But Tank showed what happens when he spends more time under Floyd. I saw Tank being more defensive-minded, better footwork and countering. All right.
I agree. I saw the same thing.
All right.
I think PBC put on some good cards over the COVID, though. I think around the cards that they put on, I think they were decent cards.
What's parliamentary? Can we all have some parliamentary procedure around Chann, please? Let's be gentlemen. What's that?
Listen, because we had an hour and 45 minutes and we asked you to listen once. I think that's why you're saying that. That one time we asked you to listen.
They're allowed to tell me to shut up, Craig. It's fine. it doesn't hurt my feelings. All right. So we shall be moving on. So that was. I'm trying to think. What was the next fight? Yeah.
Just go.
Go going in like chronological order because I have like some of the fights that I don't know if they're in order though.
All right, then. Tell me which one.
We covered Povetkin. We covered Loma. We just covered Tank. I got Joe Joyce, Dubois.
That's it. Let's go there. Yeah, let's go there.
Shad, you know, we got our show at 7:45.
Yeah, 7:45. Don't worry.
I won't give you that much longer, but go and carry on.
Don't worry. Yeah, Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois. You may as well go first, T.
Listen, it was one of those fights. Daniel's a young boy. I've known Daniel from the day probably his dad brought him to the Lynn Boxing Club. A lot has been put on Daniel's shoulders, and I think that it went from not many people knowing about Daniel to him a lot being put on his shoulders at one time. And obviously his dad. I mean, I can speak. I know the family. His dad has always said, "My son's going to be heavyweight champion of the world." But people have to understand. Experience means something in this sport. It does mean something. No matter how much knowledge is for the mind, experience is for the body, and it's something that you just have to factor in every situation. And I think that with the Joe Joyce fight, I think Daniel could have had a few more other fights before taking that fight. Joe Joyce, obviously, some say he was robbed at the Olympics from a gold medal. He's known as the Juggernaut, sparred with AJ. He's done so many rounds with AJ, fought Usyk. That experience is invaluable. And Daniel, let's get it right, Daniel didn't even fight as a senior. I think he had 1 or 2 fights as a senior. But he'd been looking so impressive against lower caliber fighters that I think they a lot of money had been invested in him and they threw the dice. Right. Daniel was doing good, but in the aftermath now, Joe Joyce is coming out and saying, his sparring partner hit harder than Daniel. And I go back to the fight where Daniel fought Kevin Johnson. Kevin said he's not a puncher. Go back and listen to the tapes. Kevin said, Daniel, and this is what at the top of this show, your show, Lady Chann, I said power is subjective. Remember I said that? I said that at the beginning. It's who you're fighting. Yeah. So you can be and if you haven't gone through the necessary steps or had the necessary experience, what can happen and what happened to us, is in Russia, the experience is the telling factor. And I think with that fight, that's all it was. It's not that Daniel could remember. Daniel's only 23 years young. Right. He's still a baby. So by no means is Daniel's career over. I just think that you just need to just take time, build him up again. There's no rush. Listen, none of the big boys was going to give Daniel a shot anyway. I don't think, they would have found a way to, because they were talking about Dylan. Dylan's like, I'm not fighting him for.
Dylan's like, no.
Joseph Parker was saying, why am I fighting him for? Yeah. Then all of a sudden when Joseph Parker I think lost or something like that. Then he's putting saying that
out on
Joseph Parker was on our show, and he mentioned Daniel. But sometimes these things happen for a good reason. He's a young man. He's been paid a lot of money, which to me is the key. It's called prize fighting.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I say with Devon and his dad. Again, his dad, he was, his dad worked in the music business. Bill Haney, go do your research. You understand? That's why you see Devon and all them rap shows, Power FM. His dad has marketed Devon and got him the money before the fights. And to me, that's what it's about. Get the money before you get the big fight. So Daniel's made a lot of money thus far, and he's still got his career intact. It was a perfect game plan by Joe Joyce. They, stuck to it. See, Joe's very deceiving. He looks like he's very deceiving, but he's very effective. He's a
mad
bitch.
Slow, but he's powerful.
Yeah. But again, we say slow, but it's timing.
Yeah,
it's not.
I mean,
I've never said he's slow.
He's a bit sluggish, but like his footwork isn't the fastest. But like he is a bit sluggish, but he lands and he fucks you up. Like, and he's skilled. He's skilled. He's skilled. I like Joe Joyce.
How can his footwork be sluggish and you see him doing this Capoeiro nonsense?
Yeah, but this is the thing. This is the thing. At the end of the fights, when he does all of that, but look at his footwork. Look at his footwork in the fights. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily in the fights. Not necessarily.
This is my opinion.
He ain't on the balls of his feet on fights. No, he's not.
With Joe, I just think Joe, again, we spoke about this. Cayden spoke about this. It's about developing a style which suits him, and he's stuck to it, and he's just become a master at that way of boxing. And it worked against Daniel. It got tough for Daniel in the fight. Listen, we can say what we want about it's a fighting man's sport, but if you're young, you're inexperienced, your eyes hanging out his socket and everything, you're like, well, you want me to blind in this ring? You understand?
Exactly.
So Daniel done what he had to do, and he'll be back. He was born to be a boxer, and I'm looking. And good luck to Joe Joyce as well, because now
he's in the conversations. Yeah, he's been mentioned in many more conversation, which is all good. Cayden?
Yeah. So for me, I knew a little about Daniel Dubois, and I knew about Joe Joyce, and I knew they were fighting one another. The fight got delayed. I was looking forward to it. I'm excited about the Zone, because what the Zone does is it allows us to watch fights in the UK here, in the States, and it used to be really difficult for me to watch fights, and so now that they're doing the stream, so I'm excited. I'm in the gym, I'm working out, and I'm like, when I get home, I got the big fight. And then I'm just driving, so I said, well, let me listen to some YouTube. And then I hear like the comments that Daniel Dubois made about Joe Joyce's mom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't even know about this. That's like I found out about that. Like shower and watch the fight. So then when I saw the stare down, I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Like when they were face to face in the ring, I said, it's about to go down. And what I saw was Daniel Dubois was beating Joe Joyce to the punch in the beginning. He was landing clean shots, but he was doing too much. I felt like Daniel Dubois already had rounds in the bag, but he would still exert his tank trying to knock him out. And I know he wanted to put on an impressive show, and he was landing some punches that looked devastating. Now we can dispute his punching power and how hard they were. He didn't knock out the Juggernaut, but he landed some shots that looked very painful to me. And I felt like, how is Joe Joyce standing up? But one thing Joe Joyce did was he landed the jab consistently, and you started to see like the mouth form on Daniel Dubois' eye, and he just kept hitting it until
I know.
And Joe Joyce, to me, I'm going to be honest with you. You say he's not slow, but on my television, he looks slow. That's all I'm saying. Now, look, I've never seen him in person. I've never been across the ring from him, but on my television, he looks slow. And real slow.
If he looks slow and he's still hitting the target, something's wrong.
Timing, like you said, like everybody knows time and offset speed. Because I've been in there with guys who are really fast, and you got to figure out a way. You got to punch with them. You got to figure out. You got to time it. So Daniel Garcia, for example, when you see a lot of the stuff he does, it's him timing the opponent and landing it. So I feel like Miguel Cotto's another one who I felt like had really great timing. So timing offset speed, but Joe Joyce jabbing, and he stopped him. So what I thought immediately was I underrated Joe Joyce. Things that Tunde pointed out.
Yeah.
Olympic silver medalist, could have been gold medalist.
Yeah.
Had all this experience. I underrated all that going in because I looked at Daniel Dubois' potential, but he didn't have the experience yet. And I think if he knew better, he would have preserved more energy to go the distance, and he wouldn't have gassed himself out. But it is what it is. And Joe Joyce, I'm not messing with that man no more. I'm taking him a lot more serious.
Right. I was like so indecisive at first when the fight was announced. I was like, oh, Joe Joyce has got this. Then I switched and I was like, no, Dubois has got this. And then probably about 2 weeks before the fight, or a week before the fight, I switched back to Joe Joyce, and I was like, this is like a 50-50 fight. I was so indecisive about it. I just wasn't sure. And then when they started to fight, I had Joe Joyce ahead by a round before it was called. So it was a close, tight fight. What did you have it scored as, Cayden?
I think I had Joyce winning.
Yeah.
Actually, I had it 87-84 Dubois when it was stopped.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think the last 2 rounds you started to see Dubois fading, but I feel like before he started to fade, he was doing power shots, he was landing the clean punches. Joyce was taking them. You can see what it was you can see him physically breaking down round by round. You can see him being more exhausted. You can see him fading.
Yeah.
But Joyce really took over the last 2 rounds. I feel like when he stopped him. So I actually had Dubois winning at the time the fight was stopped.
Yeah, see, it was a lot of people that were doing, when I watched commentaries, it was pretty much split down the middle. You, Lee?
I also had Dubois winning, but it depends how people score fights. Me personally, I give more value to harder punches. If there's a round where somebody hits 7 jabs and somebody hits 4 heavy punches, I'm going to give the round to the person that's hit the heavier punches. I think they're more clean and effective rather than just clean punches. But maybe that's my way of scoring it incorrectly.
Yeah,
but me, I prefer the heavier punch. I prefer the heavier punch. So I did have Dubois up, but it was a strange stoppage for me. That was the most shocking bit.
Yeah. Well, he had to take the knee. Yeah,
I understood it.
Well, his corner should have took him out. It would have looked better.
Craig, sorry, I'm listening, but Craig Connell says everyone was a disgrace laying into a 23-year-old kid. Talk about knocking a man when he's down. The kid was in the fight, not like he was getting beat up, then said he had enough. The Dubois will be back. Good point.
Basically,
I mean, I didn't even mention that. I didn't even, because all that quick talk, I never, as I said, listen, if a person he's in there, he's young, he's inexperienced, someone doesn't need to die in there if you can help it. So
and I fully backed his decision, but I just think why people are ragging on him is because of the disrespect that he said about Joyce's mum. So it's just kind of like, this is like your karma. You're talking something really badly about a blind.
I didn't even know that. I had no idea.
He said it in the press conference.
I couldn't even believe something like that would come out of Daniel's mouth.
It's disgusting.
Knowing him, a young boy.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It was disgusting.
Again, he's a young boy, an introvert. That's all of a sudden had to be this public figure and talk. And you can see that Daniel's interviews. There ain't much talk coming out of his mouth. It should have been me in there, because then it would
so, no, but I agree with Tunde because he did look uncomfortable. Like I feel like he was trying to be smooth and trying to come off as like saying something cute, but it was disrespectful. That's what I think.
It's mad disrespectful, mate. He tried to come. Yeah, it was too much. So I think that's why people are getting onto him, because it's like, oh, this is your karma. Da, 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 da. But you know what I mean, and it does look like it looks very karmatic.
It was one of those that just looked really bad. The way he ended it just looked really bad. That's the thing. It just
his corner
bad.
was really negligent. His corner was shit. Didn't even have a doctor. The doctor didn't even come to the corner and observe his eye or nothing. It would have just looked better if the corner would have just pulled him out. And you know, instead of saying this is the fight game, you know, like it's like, yeah, we know we're here.
Daniel will be back. That's all I know.
Yeah,
he's gonna be back. He's young and he's got a lot to offer, and that's all Daniel knows how to do. Daniel only knows how to fight. And look out for his sister Caroline and young Prince. And there's a next one as well. It's a fighting family. There's a next little younger one, and the dad swear blind. Swear blind Prince is gonna be better than Daniel, but the younger one is doing things now that none of them have seen. So it's a heavy family. So,
and I agree with the criticism. Sorry, I agree with the criticism that it's wrong to criticize Dubois, because we can't have these close domestic fights, both dangerous for both fighters, and then tear down the one that loses. Otherwise, there's no incentive for these fights to happen again. We're gonna have to wait another 5 or 6. Because what was the last one? Dillian White and Joshua. When you got two, local fighters, two domestic fighters going for it and like taking risks and taking each other on. So we got to think, okay, it's a dangerous fight, it's a close fight. So just because somebody loses, it doesn't all of a sudden mean they're trash.
Welcome to the boxing.
Yeah. Right.
Someone's got to get the chop. It's the same like football.
Yeah.
Team loses, manager's gone.
The
players. I mean, it's sad, but I get what you're saying, Lee. You're absolutely right.
It had to be the fall guy. Yeah, like there was a fall guy. Who's next in the order? I know T has to run along. I knew this was kind of a long
that
time.
I have left. I have Yard Arthur, Canelo.
Yeah, we may as well do. We may as well do the Yard Arthur, and then we may as well do the Yard Arthur, and then we may as well do the. Then we can wrap the show with our Garcia Campbell thing.
You got Yard Arthur, then you got AJ.
Oh yeah, we got AJ.
Oh, AJ Pulev.
AJ Pulev.
All right, we'll do Yard Arthur, AJ Pulev.
Yeah.
And then
Yard Arthur, I'm just sitting and I'm listening. God, I'm just listening. I don't want to listen. I want to hear what, because everyone talks anyway, but it's good that I can listen to it. My opinion.
I think there was some opinions on that in the commentary.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
But it was more like Yard Boatsi. Hang on, let's see. There was people saying that you should have trained You should train Wilder, Tunde.
I saw that. I was laughing.
Yeah, where is it? But this was, what was this? Tunde, someone interviewed Yard and was forcing the convo thing. Well, Tunde, you're just gonna have to just like speak to it. Here, go ahead. Sometimes you.
Sami Ali, Tunde, someone interviewed Yard and was forcing the convo of him considering leaving you. If Yard leaves you after all the hard work and grit you've put in, I will lose respect for him. Well, I'll say this: like, comment, and subscribe to Anthony Yard's YouTube channel. That's how you get all the answers. You must have noticed I've not said a word, because Anthony's, he's put out a statement, and I just have to respect the young man. And listen, I know what I know, but as I say, you have to, I never forget Eddie Mustafa Muhammad said to me. He said, always put yourself in the shoes of the fighter. Mm-hmm. That's how you last long in this game as a trainer. Uh-huh. And I've done that from day one. I've always put the fighter ahead of me.
Vanity moment.
The good book, even though I don't read it that much, says the love of money is the root of all money. Is the root of all evil. Yeah. I want money. I need money. I want to get money, but I don't love money to the extent that I'm I'm gonna sell out my morals and my soul for money. So, having said all that, we just have to wait to see what Anthony. You know, again, I know we with the part where on this show now we're talking about the fight, but my thing is this: because I care about the fight so much, I always say to people, or I have said to a few people with this particular fight, let's consider the year Anthony Yarde has had. We earlier we spoke about Luke Campbell losing his father.
Yeah.
Before the Linares fight, and still going on. Anthony Yarde has lost 4 family members in 6 months to this. Yeah, Anthony said it on his show. He lost 4 family members in 6 months to this terrible virus. So that's a lot mentally that a fighter has to deal with. And so the reason why I've not said nothing is because I just want to be respectful, as I always am, to Anthony. It's the Anthony Yarde show, and let him talk and let him answer any questions with regards to sticking with me or leaving with me. I know he's left everybody at a cliffhanger. It's good. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to Anthony Yarde's YouTube channel. So that's that.
All right. So, Cayden, we may as well shoot over to you and your thoughts.
Yeah, listen. If you look, this isn't revisionist history. If you go to my Instagram, I actually tweeted. I actually wrote my reaction to it like immediately, which was I was shocked with the decision. I thought Anthony Yarde won. I gave Lyndon Arthur the first 3 rounds. I gave Yarde the 4th. I gave Lyndon the 5th. I gave Yarde 6, 7, 8. I gave Lyndon 9, and then I gave Yarde
10, 11, and 12.
That's exactly.
So, I had it 115, 113 for Yarde. That was my scorecard. Now I can say that I'm from the United States.
I had the same. I had exactly the same. Exactly the same. I'm doing it on my commentary. Exactly the same.
I'm from the United States of America. I don't know what's happening in the UK like that. I watch boxing. People in the UK love boxing. But when we talk about fighters who don't seem to get a fair shake, to me, Anthony Yarde's one of them. Like it seems like in the UK, they love their fighters, but for some reason, like when it comes to Anthony Yarde, they're a little different. And the reason why I say that is because no one can tell me. Like I trust my knowledge of the sport. I've done it. Not at a professional level, at an amateur level. And like, even when I did it, people still want me to go pro today. I don't need to, I don't do it. But the point is, I love the sport. I respect the sport. I know enough about the sport to trust my scorecard. I believe my scorecard's right. I believe Anthony Yarde won the fight. Not only do I believe Anthony Yarde won the fight, I believe Lyndon Arthur felt like Anthony Yarde won the fight.
He did.
He didn't look like a man who won. And I know what it feels like to win.
I said that.
I win. You're boisterous. You're like extremely confident.
Right.
You're jubilant.
Right.
You're celebrating. Right. He did none of that. He kneeled in his corner. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's what he did. You know,
should have thanked the judges. That Jesus.
Right. In it too.
But what I will say is, I had like 2 or 3 major takeaways from the fight. One was, I don't feel like neither man took enough risks to win the fight definitively. I felt like Lyndon Arthur was okay with controlling range with his jab, moving back, controlling range. And I felt like Anthony Yarde was content with closing the gap, landing some power shots, and not really going for it when he got on the inside. And I feel like, that's basically the song and dance that took place for the 12 rounds. But I feel like Anthony Yarde was moving forward. He was the aggressor. He was pressing the action. He landed the power shots. And I get you land some jabs, but power shots are called power shots for a reason. It's rare you see someone get knocked out from a jab unless, they have no punch resistance like Kell Brook. But moving on, right? It's rare you see someone get knocked out from a jab. But Anthony Yarde was the aggressor. He was landing the power punches, and he was in the fight, because there was a point in that fight, I can't remember which round, where Yarde just stopped moving and said, "Well, come to me." And Lyndon Arthur was like, "I'm not coming." Fine, I guess I'll keep pressing the action. So then he went forward and the fight continued. So one, I think Anthony Yarde won, but I also believe Lyndon Arthur feels like Anthony Yarde won. Watch the end of the fight and tell me.
I said that in my commentary.
Like they think they won the fight. Yeah. And I feel like he knows. But the other thing that I don't understand about the treatment for Anthony Yarde is I knew going into the fight he had lost his grandmother and he lost his father during this pandemic. And you know, I lost my stepdad. I love him as much as my dad. My mom was married to my stepdad, and that's my stepdad is Trill Dollar Bill's father.
Is it? Is it?
And we condolences. My stepdad, right? But it bothers me. Like, and when my stepdad died, you know, I didn't cry like in that moment. It hit me like a year and a half later. When I got into one of the best colleges in the United States of America, and I broke down because like that's when I felt his absence, right? And you never know what someone's going through like that. This man lost his grandmother and his father, and like I just heard Tunde say he lost more relatives that I don't even know. And he still went in that ring. And like there's this rapper in America, his name's Noriega. If you listen to like this album CNN, the War Report, Invincible, he says, I can't believe I made a half behind album. My excuse is my pops just died. And I didn't want to make music. My pops just died.
You understand? I'm love listening to you. But if I don't know if they show it because I don't never watch back nothing that I said. But in the BT interview, the day before the fight, I actually said, Anthony, the fact that Anthony's in this ring, because he's not visibly showing me any signs for me to say, you know, and listen, man, it's you know the year that we've had, you know, the guy kept it all together. But as you say, you don't know. Only Anthony knows how he's feeling. He put out a tweet yesterday, I think it might have been yesterday. Yeah, because New Year's Eve, something that, you know, certain things are just registering now. Same thing what you're saying about losing your loved ones. It was the thing is this. For me, the main question is this. Lyndon Arthur never changed the way he fights. He's fought like that his whole career. So we already know Lyndon Arthur can't do nothing different. But I asked everyone the question: is that the way Anthony fights?
No,
Anthony don't fight like that. So again, another reason I give no excuse for the fight. I wish Lyndon. I said it at a BT. Today is Lyndon and Pat's night, and all credit to them. But I know, you know, Anthony. He had a lot on his mind, and he should be applauded for just getting in that ring.
No, and I agree, and I would say this too. The state of mind that Anthony Yarde's probably is in right now is one you can't imagine. And I think like if you're someone who's close to him, and this is why, and what's funny is, you know, I didn't know I was going to be on this panel or speaking with Tunde is I would say forget boxing, man. And you just said it. Forget boxing. This is someone you care about. It's like, yo, I'm here for you. Regardless of what you're going through, what you decide to do, I'm here for you because I care about you. This is beyond boxing. When you have a year like he's had, haven't had a year like that, but I've lost someone that was near and dear to me. This dude lost his dad, and I read the quote. He said his dad was perfectly fine and healthy. Like, so you have an untimely, unexpected death.
Yes,
like, it wasn't like he was sick and you could get time to prepare and you can do. This was a pandemic came and he lost his dad.
Yes,
we're gone. Like, come on, people. That's why I said I don't understand how people can have venom for someone who just went in the ring, and regardless of what you think, you can't deny that was a close fight. You can't deny that was a close fight, regardless of who you think won, and say that he didn't perform. And so, why are you so hard on someone who's had that kind of a year? I have nothing but respect for Anthony Yarde. I thought he won the fight. It was a tough break. and I tweeted this. I mean, not tweeted, but I put it on. I think I might have tweeted it too. But you can check my Instagram. You can check my Facebook. I was stunned at the reaction.
Yeah, so was I.
G, Conspira G, thought he won, and our text chain, we were like robbery.
Yeah, I saw a few Americans doing videos saying the same thing, but to this day, I ain't said nothing because I'm like, all right, cool, you know, fair play is your night, but we'll see what is in it. Listen, when Ruiz beat AJ said the gods were shining on you on that night. Well done, and he went back and he put things right. So, you know, hopefully we'll get the opportunity. Well, not hopefully, there's a rematch clause in the contract. You know, we'll get that cracking and we'll see where it is.
I think one last point with this.
Yes.
I don't know. It's crazy. Like, I started doing this, like, so we wouldn't get kicked out of the gyms. And now, like, I'm on with you guys and in a position where Anthony Yard may actually see this. If he does, I would say this to him. I watched the fight against Kovalev, and I had him winning that fight too. And I think like in the 8th round, he went for it. Like he went for it. I feel like and you can't fault someone for going for the win, but I felt like he gassed out. And then that's what led to him losing. But he went for it. And like you said, experience. Maybe if he doesn't go for it so hard in that round, he has enough left in the tank to get the decision on the points. But still, that's a learned experience. But he didn't lose that fight because he wasn't prepared. He didn't lose that fight because he wasn't trained well. He lost that fight going for it. That's the way you're supposed to lose. If you lose anything, when you play that tape, you can say, I went for mine. Like I went for it. Maybe I should have done things a little differently, but I know that now. In the fight with Lyndon Arthur, it wasn't like he wasn't prepared. It wasn't like he lost the fight because he got outclassed. He lost the fight because some judges decided they wanted to give it to Lyndon Arthur. Now you have a completely different set of judges. Maybe the fight goes another way. So to me, when I look at, and also like we talk about what was the fight Vasily Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, how Lomachenko started to win rounds later on, and maybe he formula. Yard was taking the later rounds. So you have round 13, maybe he found something that gives him the going on in the beginning. So I'd say look at things in its totality. Don't react off emotion. Don't react off of people telling you what to do, because only you know. Only you know what happens in camp. Only you know what happens. Only you know, right? But you do know going into that fight, you weren't 100% mentally. It was impossible to be.
Impossible.
Right? So take all those things in consideration is all I would say. Because I've never seen Anthony Yard in the ring and felt like this guy didn't belong. And to me, that would be a sign of like not doing things right. It was always he had a chance to win. And when you had a chance to win every fight you was in, that doesn't mean tear down the building. That's all.
And it's funny that about people not having, people have they want to have consideration with everybody else when they've lost their one parent going into the ring, you know. But when it came to Anthony Yard, it just people were more willing to have. There were still more people that were more willing to have what's the word, like sympathy for Daniel Dubois, even though he said something really mean about someone's mum. But then when it comes to then Anthony Yard and 4 people dying, or even at the time they only knew that it was 2, because he didn't even want to even allow the other 2 to be said, because he didn't really want it to be an excuses thing. But the fact that he lost 2 people knowingly, but now that you know, Cayden, it's 4, people didn't even want to give that into consideration. I had him winning the fight 7-5 anyway, and I'm not taking back no talk. So we've all there's big backlash that's happening here, Cayden, against Tunde, massively. He's trending on near enough every platform, like globally. Like I'm surprised you haven't heard any commentary on it over on your side, because it's ridiculous.
But it makes the rematch a much better fight. I think there's a lot more to it. I think it's going to be a lot bigger.
It's more anticipation, not better fight, because this time Maz is getting in there straight bangers,
knocking him out. I know. I believe that. Oh yeah, and T, before, like, Do you know about they was making up about, there was a big fuss about you forgetting to put the gum shield in twice.
Yes.
Imagine I watched.
Go watch Floyd Mayweather against Canelo Alvarez.
Go watch
and
something
you see
even
Floyd
more.
Mayweather Senior. No, but that's a massive fight.
What is it?
But
but even go watch. Wait. Go watch Campbell v. Not Loma. Campbell v. No. Campbell v. Hang on, let me just look at my my last scene. 1 sec. Because this is how the Most High is just so done.
While you're checking, let me just run something by Tunde.
Go on, Lee.
Yeah.
Do you know what I actually said this for Chann? I actually thought that when he went out without the gum shield, I actually thought that was you just trying to make it a bit difficult for Arthur to reset. Because he actually came out when he had the gum shield back in. He came out and Arthur wasn't able to set his feet the way he was. And Yard actually got off a few of the heavy punches. So I actually thought it was a little cheeky trick by you.
I said
you just said it was just one of those things. That was my opinion.
Mendy.
I say that.
Luke Campbell, Ivan Mendy. So Luke Campbell's corner forgot to give him his mouth guard.
Let me tell you something about me. I know what certain quarters of people in this country want me to bark out. They want me to say something, but I ain't falling for that. So that's why I just keep my mouth shut. We all just need to look at the whole playing field. Have I done something someone else hasn't done before? Am I doing anything? Didn't I tell Ant? Didn't I say to Ant? And again, I was having this discussion yesterday. Some people behave like fighters are robots. Like trainer just says something and then the fighter just does it.
Right.
The fighter knows. Going back to Daniel's fight, the corner was telling him to do something. He done something else.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is the reason why I say that when people this guy's talking about the eighth round and what have you all heard Anthony say prior to the Kovalev fight, we ain't coming here for points. We ain't winning on points.
Yeah. So it's by knockout.
Nobody knows Anthony better than myself. We're in the gym every day. We do things together. This is like my son. You understand what I'm saying? So nobody knows Anthony the way I know him. But one thing I could tell you about Anthony, he will never do something he doesn't feel that he doesn't feel to do. I vocalized what Anthony was going to do anyway. I saw it. So when people talk about this, listen, there was an 11-round contest. But what is the key factor of the whole fight? Because I never saw. It was the eighth round when I said empty the tank, and Anthony almost stopped him. Buddy McGirt said, "If I have one more round like that, I'm pulling you out." I never heard that with Kell Brook against Golovkin.
Yeah,
I
never
heard that with Kell Brook against GGG. Errol Spence. I never heard that with Callum Smith against. At no time did you hear that other corner say, "Man, if you have another round like that, man, I'll pull you out of the fight." But I've
never heard Kovalev congratulate an opponent either.
So that's how close we were. So that's one of the reasons why. And you hear how passionately I'm talking against these haters because, and I don't like that side of myself. I don't make excuses. I know what I do for me. You get what I'm saying? And Ant knows what I do. And you have some people talking about being a motivator and what have you and everything like that. But you told me, you told me how many trainers can take a 12-fight amateur to the top of the mountain. You told me. You're there, Cayden, you're there, Leon. You said
I think a lot of the criticism you get is people don't know your history. They think you've just popped up on the scene from a couple of years ago.
Well,
and you just there.
I was in the corner of Vitaly Klitschko against Derek Chisora.
But people don't know this.
I was there. I was in the corner. You go and watch the press conference when Derek slapped him in his face. I was the little black head that you see running the other direction.
Listen, I wanted to ask you what happened. What happened off camera? I've been dying to ask you what happened off camera.
Derek's a madman. But I don't want to go away from the fight. You know what Cayden said is what I know it is. you know, and everybody's got an opinion in boxing, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I give Cayden all due props. I'm your number one fan in the stateside because you said it how it is.
We're both moving to Boston.
We're both.
You don't need to move to Boston because we want to come out to the UK. So
yeah. But you know, listen, man. You know, I don't need respect from these guys. I've done everything the way I've done it for myself and for my team and for my, you know, for the family. So we all know where it is, and you know, we're unlike most. You know, where something happens and then you start pointing the finger. It's because we don't do that. That's what certain people do, and most do, but we don't do that around here. So, you know, it's a case. I was just browsing the other day and I saw that that trainer Bashir. Is it Ali
Bashir?
Bashir.
Bashir, and they were talking about me.
Then you came on the show. I woke up this morning and it was on my TV.
Yeah, and then the guy was like, Tunde, man, I have to say, I've got so much respect for you now that I've heard you speak. And I said,
that's a lot of opinions made from not knowing.
To know it but that's it. I just let them talk. Let them talk. But you know, the fact. I mean, we could go on a whole topic on that, but with regards to the fact,
we have
everything Cayden said is what it is, and that's all I say on that.
Yeah. I got one thing to say though, to the people who are saying like they feel like he needed a change. How do you know what's happening in camp if you're not there?
Exactly.
Because the change you may think is he needs to be, say you think the change is he needs to be more defensive minded. How do you know that they don't go over that? Like an athlete doesn't always do what they're told. And if you've never been an athlete, you don't know that. Like I played football, I played basketball, and I boxed. I've been told to run this play by a coach. And I go in and I call an audible and run the play I want to run anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I wasn't trained to run my play. It means I was told to do something and I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. Because I'm the one who's on the field, right? Or I'm on a basketball court and the play was called for one other player, but I feel like I'm about a better chance of making a shot. So forget the play, I'm going to take the shot anyway. And everyone's going to be like, oh, the coach sucks. But I didn't do what the coach told me to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How would you know all these things unless you're inside the camp?
Right.
And so I think before people start like jumping and doing certain things, I feel like, one, you shouldn't even be saying certain things unless you're close enough to know. And I'll just point out, and I'll close with this. Like I remember Joshua with his trainer at the time, and still his trainer. But people were like, "Oh, he needs to get rid of
change Rob McCracken."
McCracken, that's right, McCracken. He needs to get rid of McCracken. And Joshua said, "I came with McCracken. I'm staying with McCracken." But he did bring people in.
Just added Angel.
I'm on a different perspective because to me, that's what respect, that's what loyalty, that's what it's all about. Anthony Yard fought at championship level. He didn't train himself to get there, right? So you can't sit there and say, "Oh, he needs a new trainer," because you think anyone can just train someone to be at that level. I challenge you to train someone to learn how to throw a jab right, since you think it's so easy. Not easy. It's not easy.
It's good to hear your opinion. I respect that.
Very good.
Thanks, Cayden. I know you are pushed to the limit, ain't you, T?
No. You know me. I love it because the thing about me, I know the scientific law. Whatever you resist persists. I'm gonna say that again. Whatever you resist persists. I ain't got time to be fighting these little internet gangsters. I just don't have no time for it. I let them say what they want to say. You know what? I'll be back in the gym tomorrow. That's it. Yeah. Like, and you know, this is a career, not a kamikaze. You know, it's not. You know, you look at the greatest fighters in the history of the sport. Everyone took losses. There ain't many Floyd Mayweathers. There ain't many Joe Calzaghes. There ain't many Rocky Marcianos. And a lot of fighters who eventually became champion suffered losses before they became champion. Right. So it's a job. We'll learn. And, you know, again, going back to it, myself, I don't come from no GB. I'm I wasn't a coach or an assistant on the GB squad.
Yeah.
I meticulously studied great fighters.
Right.
And meticulously wrote down combinations from A to Z to I've got a dossier.
Right.
You know, there's so much that I've written down through my study of boxing. So if I can do that with a 12-fight amateur, and let's get it right, and I'll say this in leaving. If I'm a flash in the pan, I took another 12-fight amateur at the age of 15 years old. I took him to Floyd Mayweather's gym, 15, 16, 17, and on his 18th birthday, Floyd said, "We gonna sign him." That young man was on the undercard of Floyd Mayweather and Marcus Maidana. Go check the record. Go check the program.
Yeah.
Junior Benjamin. I did what they said I couldn't do. I took him out of the amateurs. I trained him under the system that I developed, and we got to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Some people know the story. Maybe Cayden's hearing it for the first time. 2 days before the fight, he failed his brain scan, but he was on that bill. I done it.
Yeah. I heard about that.
Through the training, through the teaching, and it was the only time in boxing I wanted to walk away from the sport. But guess, out of 16 fighters that I trained, only one fighter came out to Las Vegas. That young man was Anthony Yarde. And within 3 years, Anthony Yarde was fighting for a world title at the top of the mountain. I've done it twice within 3 years with no schooling from none of these guys. So I ain't listening to none of them. I'm going to do what I'm doing. And Anthony knows. Those that know me know. You can't break my wall. And so, I mean, we've gone a bit philosophical now because we ain't even talking about the fight. We're talking about the history of Tunde.
One quick thing. Can you put this comment from the Maverick up just because I want to address it real quick?
Where is it? Okay.
I'll read it, but it's there. He wrote a 12-fight amateur with impressive natural ability. Don't negate Yarde's ability in natural power. He never did. I just want to clear that up. You don't recruit. Coaches don't recruit people without talent. Right? You don't recruit an athlete to play on your basketball team, your football team without talent, right? But you nurture the talent so it can be the best it can be.
Thank you very much. And I've always said that. All I've done is bring out what's in Anthony already. I didn't put that in there. That's God. That's powers. That's from up above.
I can't see it.
I helped bring out what is already inside of him. But guess what? You can say Anthony had natural talent. The young boy who was going to make his debut on Floyd Mayweather's undercard never had no natural talent. He never boxed. And those that know me know. And this kid was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah,
But the what's more important is that someone could have the patience, the time to take someone from nothing and build them into something, help build them into something. That's different from when someone just getting given a fighter that's already 80% molded. I took my time. None of you haters weren't there when I was, eating cassava 3 times a day with no stew.
The fact of the matter is, and like even for me, I'll never say like a fighter is like a bum or trash. I'll just say like they're not, elite or they're not on that level. There are some fighters who are fighting for like money. Like if they have a day job and then they're boxing on the side to make extra money, like to me, that this isn't a full-time fighter. But all full-time fighters who dedicate themselves to the sport, I'll never really disrespect them. But what I would say is,
I will.
I'm just saying, like, because for example, there's a guy, Brian Scalabrine, right? Yeah. He played for the Boston Celtics. Like he was like one of the last players to ever get in the game. Yeah. And everyone calls him trash. But I actually was in a gym where he showed up and cooked all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he's the last guy on the NBA bench. So trash.
Sorry.
So basically, there are levels. And the level that you've reached as a trainer, everyone can criticize, right? But if it was that easy to be in that seat, everyone would be there. And what I've noticed is everyone's better at your job when they don't have to do it. So
yeah, exactly.
There it is.
Exactly. When they don't have to do it, everybody's got a lot of shit to say. But hey, you know, some people, that's how they get off in life. So more power to them if that's what makes their clock tick, to say. But yeah, like I said, I can't wait to see the rematch of that fight. And okay, T just needed to drop out and
he said
no, he did it on accident. He said he did it on accident. He just kept me in. Oh shit! I just left. No, he'll be. Yeah, I apologize. Yeah. We forgot about Kell Brook.
Oh,
we forgot about the Kell Brook thing.
We didn't forget about it. We can talk about it.
Yeah. I forgot about it in the chronological order. I'm sure.
Bud Crawford is just a beast, man. He's just a beast.
Yeah. So let's. So I had. Who did I have winning this? I had Bud winning this. I had Bud winning it in my prediction, and I had Bud winning it. I thought it was going to go to points.
I wasn't scoring it, but I had Bud comfortably.
No, I said I had Bud knocking him out. I did, I think. I'll have to look back on my commentary, but I'm sure I said Bud by way of knockout. But I wanted Kell to win, obviously. But that fight was devastating. I was devastated. I was devastated in one hand, but obviously I love Bud as well. And I was like, you know, you're a bit conflicted. That was wild. Because Kell Brook looked really well. He looked in good condition. But they always say as you get older and you have to go from being heavier to lighter, you can cause injury, you know, fluids, you know, the fluid around your brain, you're dehydrating yourself to make weight. How easy was it really for him to make that weight? Clearly, because it's easier for a fighter to go like Bud, being a lesser weight, to, you know, to put on a few pounds. As you know, Kell was a few pounds more in a higher weight class, wasn't he? So I don't know. I don't know what else more to say on that. Is that he got fucked up, and I just think it was the you know what it was? I saw the fear that his I feel that, you know, the eye injury, once Crawford landed on him, switched it to southpaw and landed on it, I saw like the fear of God in Kell's face, and it looked like all confidence had just drained.
If Brook got up, Bob would have just gone straight back for it again. If Brook got up, he's just a mean fighter. When he gets you hurt, he's just mean. There's no mercy.
He's like a shark. Once he smells blood, that's it. Game over for you. Doesn't matter. Game over. So yeah, that was a massive upset of 2020. Definitely. What do you think, Kay? Den?
I predicted it was going to be a wash. I just felt like Kell Brook was done. Triple G broke one eye socket. Earl Spence broke the other.
Yeah.
He was fighting at 154. Then he had to come back down and weight. 147. I think he hadn't fought at 147 in like 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
And so I just expected him to be weight drained, and not have the punch resistance. I actually was impressed with Kell Brook. I felt like he had success against TC. I felt like he had a lot of success to where, you know, whether they admit it or not, the TC contingent was worried. They were like, oh man, Brook is looking good, until he got clipped with what I looked like a power jab to me. From his power hand.
Clinical precise.
You said what?
Just a clinical and precise shot. It was just
exactly. Like right on the button.
Right.
He never recovered, and then Crawford took him out of there. So I mean, I expect Crawford to do that to Kell Brook that was in the ring at that time, right?
To be
Special
fair.
K, the guy who I saw beat Sean Porter 6 years ago, or 7 years ago,
Doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
no.
That guy would have given Terrence Crawford all he can handle. But again, Kell Brook, now I expected what we saw.
Yeah. Lee?
Yeah, I don't think it was it's again, people can look worse because of the level of opposition they're facing. Like Callum Smith got a lot of criticism, but I just think Canelo was just just produced a level 10 performance. I don't think that Kell Brook had a bad performance. I think it was he was actually he's actually had some success, but Bud was just measuring up, and as soon as he saw the opportunity, he pounced on it. And the one time he did, it was just enough to end the fight. It was just the clinical finish of a fight, and
that stoppage was embarrassing. Like you could see, Kell was embarrassed.
They just don't look good. They don't look good. When you get those shots and you don't get back up, it just doesn't look good, because it doesn't look like a power punch. When you're stopped by a non-power punch, and it isn't to the point where you've been broken down.
But who said it wasn't a power punch? Like Cayden said,
I said it was precision power, but it wasn't what I would have called a power punch. It was precise.
Well, it's
I think he could hit hard
because he switched. So he switched to southpaw. So his lead hand is his power hand when he switches to southpaw, and that's the punch he caught him with, like the jab with his power hands.
So brings it into a power punch, Lee. I wouldn't underestimate the performance that Kell Brook put in. As I said, I think it was. He reminded me of once you've allowed yourself to put on weight, and then say 10 years down the line, you lose the weight. You might look good, but you don't have it all. Like you might look like you did when you was 20, but when you're 40, you're trying to do the same things. It's not happening. I just
think he just never had that resistance and that speed and that accuracy.
Well, he's not even. How old is Kell? 33, 34?
But it's the injuries. It's the two eye socket injuries. Some injuries they just break you and wear you down.
They just break your will.
And having to go down in weight, going up and then having to cut down in weight. He had a lot of the cards stacked against him.
Right.
So his performance was okay, but that would have been an upset of the year if he had managed to beat him. It was I just didn't see Brook being able to pull this one off. It would have been a lovely romantic story for Kell Brook, proving that he's still special. I would have been that's my favourite fighter. I would have been devastated for him. But no, I think the match went
how I thought it was
to go. That's what was expected.
Yeah.
I think it was expected because they didn't televise it. It didn't get televised in the UK until the last minute. Eddie Hearn was like, I want no positive.
Eddie Hearn was like, no, not doing it. Yeah, they had their own little quarrel thing, but that was on Bud. Bud decided to try and take the money and leave Dominic Ingle. Ingle was like, I've got other trainers that are coming. It was set up for disaster, to be honest.
I was surprised with Hearn's response, though. He's normally, my fighters on a fight-by-fight basis. He doesn't seem like he holds grudges if they decide to go their own way or go to another network. But he sounded like he did take offence when Kell Brook did it.
I think it was in the manner and how Kell did it. I think it was in the manner of how Kell did it. It was quite disrespectful in how he did it, and it was kind of behind Eddie's back. And then, sorry guys, my allergy is kicking my ass. Behind Eddie's back, and then when all else was failing, he tried to go back to Eddie and was like, "Yo, could you sort this out and get me on the channel for it to be broadcasted?" And Eddie was like, "Hell no," which you can't blame him, because it was very disrespectful in in how Kell went about stuff. So that's what it was. Kell, we can't say any more. We don't know what you're doing. We don't know if you're retiring. Do you think Cayden he should retire?
I don't know what else he can prove. Like, besides making more money, I see someone say too late for Amir Khan versus Brook, but if somehow that fight regains the steam it once had and it gathers the interest and they can make a few dollars from it, I wouldn't mind watching that fight. To see the bet would be who's going to get knocked out first.
Yeah, I don't want to see it. I'm bored of that this Amir Khan and Brook thing. I don't want to see it, and I don't think it's even going to happen. I see Amir Khan coming out.
I've just got no faith.
Yeah, because I think Amir Khan. Amir Khan's calling it out more because he feels that now Kel is damaged goods.
I imagine Amir Khan wakes up and thinks, I'm going to wind up the boxing public here in England today, and I'm going to say I'm going to fight.
That's what he.
And he's just laughing at home. He's just laughing. Yeah. I really think. I don't think he's got any intention of ever doing it.
Eddie Hearn's ruined Kell Brook's career. Facts. GGG v Kell Brook up 160.
No, Kell Brook wanted the fight though. Kell Brook wanted the fight.
Yeah, that's the first time this dude says something that I actually agree with.
Michael Thomas.
This dude is like one of my trolls, but
is he? He's always on. Is he one of your trolls as well?
He trolls you as well.
Yep. All the time.
Around trolling boxing channels.
Yeah, trolls me all the time.
That's my man, Toucan Sam. I call him.
I
call him Toucan Sam. You know what I mean? He's right. So I feel like Brook wanted that fight with Triple G, but he never should have gotten it. He had to move up, 2 weight divisions.
2 weights, yeah.
And it was just bad for him. He had success in the fight, but then he got hurt, broke his orbital bone, and he never recovered really. It was bad. I agree with my man Michael Thomas, aka Toucan
Sam.
You, brother.
Toucan Sam, you got a name here. You got a nickname. See. You come on, box with Chann and get a nickname. All right, cool. We're moving along. Where are we going next, Cayden? Who's next in the are we going to AJ Pulev?
AJ Pulev.
Or is it, did we do Chisora?
No, we never did Usyk Chisora.
So we do Usyk Chisora. Okay, because all right, let's just go Usyk Chisora then AJ Pulev. All right, so Usyk Chisora, I had I was one of the naive people that switched my prediction at the last minute because I was like, Usyk has got this. Chisora's not going to win. David Haye came out with his biggest campaign. So if I was someone that lived in the Antarctic and David Haye came to me and asked me to buy snow off of him, I bought the snow.
Listen,
I bought the snow. If I was someone that lived in the desert and David Haye came and said, would you like to buy some sand off me? I bought the sand. Ridiculous. I bought everything that David Haye said. I was like, yeah. All right, cool. This is going to be a new Chisora. This is going to be a new, knowing all of the stats that I know about Chisora, I just thought, this is a new Chisora and he's going to, but I did say, if Chisora doesn't pummel him and he lets Usyk dance around, and Usyk will dance, and that's what he did. Usyk danced, mate. Usyk's not going to knock out Chisora.
I had it closer than most people.
I can't remember what
I prefer the power punches. I just give those more than someone who's going to slip and hit the clean jab. I like the clean effect, the cleanness and the effectiveness.
I was frustrated. I was frustrated.
But I think it was the one time that David Haye wasn't actually lying. I think Chisora did bring something different. I've never seen Chisora switch to southpaw with the jab. I think there was some. I thought there was some new stuff that David Haye. I mean, David Haye's lied to me many times and got me to buy a pay-per-view when he's telling me it's going to be a tear. It's going to be a tear with the Klitschko fight, and then at the end he's saying that he wasn't able to unload because of his toe was damaged. So I was thinking, your toe was damaged, and you're telling people there's going to be a tear up. You knew it was going to be a tear. You just stole my money, man. You stole my money.
Yeah, right.
And out of that, I didn't actually buy the pay-per-view because I was thinking out of principle, I'm not buying a David Haye pay-per-view. And then I was listening to somebody's commentary from round one, and I just fell for it, man. I just jumped straight on and bought it straight away because it just sounded like an exciting fight.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was always buying the fight, and I just feel that like the thing that I felt like Chisora just like he would get Usyk into the corner and start to unload, and then not start to unload. He would get him into the corner, and when it was time to unload, it's like he gassed out, and then he just allowed Usyk to just dance back out into safety, and that was frustrating for me. It was just like you can't execute the moves that you're trying to do. Did you see that, Cayden? What did you think?
Well, going into the fight, I picked Derek Chisora mainly because Usyk's performance against Chaz Witherspoon, he looked real vulnerable to me, and I've seen Derek Chisora in there with top tier heavyweights in his own. Like even against Dillian White, he was winning at the time that he got knocked out. So I felt like Usyk would have to improve like drastically from when I last saw him to beat Derek Chisora, and I feel like the first 4 rounds it played out that way.
Yeah,
it looked like Chisora was doing very well, and I gave him the first 4 rounds, but then it looked like he gassed out, like you said, and then Usyk started picking him apart, and so I ended up scoring it for Usyk in a close decision over Chisora. I thought Chisora gave it his best shot. I wasn't
he did
with Chisora's performance, but I did think Usyk pulled it out. And so, it was a good fight. It was entertaining for me. So
it's just as that Chisora chased Usyk a lot, and that's where I knew it was going to go pear-shaped. I said it in predictions. If Usyk dances and Derek chases, it's downhill, and that's what. And the thing is, like Derek Chisora, he's not a boxer; he's a brawler. So I just think like he hasn't got the greatest ring IQ, in my opinion. He hasn't got the greatest ring IQ. And obviously, Usyk coming from being the cruiserweight champion, undisputed, still has his 0. Like, it just showed that you don't brawling doesn't always work. Sometimes you just have against a tactical fighter, they'll outpoint you and move out the way and jab your face off and move out the way, and that's what Usyk did. He's got better ring IQ than Derek Chisora.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. Yeah. I just scored it a lot closer than most people. I mean, I've heard people saying that it was a clear, credible boxing people saying it's a clear win for Alexander Usyk, and I just saw it closer than that. But maybe it's just what I like. I like the way Derek was just trying to walk him down and swinging those punches. And I like the contrasting styles, and I just called it a bit closer than everybody else, I suppose. Right.
Got you. Oh well, we can move on swiftly. Derek, he's still out and about though. More props to him because he don't care. He doesn't run away and hide.
We're gonna see him release another 2 more fights. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's not. Probably till he's about 40, I would say. Yeah, definitely. He's got I think he's 2 years off of that.
He performed well enough to earn another big fight.
Yeah. To get another, would it be PPV worthy?
I don't know.
Because it depends who he's going to fight. I don't see who he's going to fight that would bring PPV.
A Joe Joyce or a Dillian White. If Dillian White loses to the veteran,
you know what? Maybe I could see Chisora versus Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, but we have to wait till Daniel Dubois is like really back in the game.
Joe Joyce has done that too.
Dubois out for at least 6 months, at least. So Chisora hasn't really got time on his side like that to wait for a 23-year-old that does have time on his side.
I'm just saying for pay-per-view fights. You said.
Do you think it would be pay-per-view?
I think that would be a pay-per-view fight.
Do you? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because if Joyce Dubois was going to be pay-per-view before the pandemic, then
but then that was before the pandemic.
No,
but then they realized it probably just wasn't still good enough because pandemic or no pandemic, the pay-per-view fights that were pay-per-view fights still became pay-per-view fights. Nobody on Matchroom dropped off of being pay-per-view and then going on to terrestrial TV. You know,
I think what comes to pay-per-view fights, it's mainly about, do you think the public will pay to see the fight?
See the fight, yeah.
And I think like there is that intrigue about, can Daniel Dubois bounce back after his loss to Joyce? So I do feel like possibly if you give him a big name like that, and they're both coming off losses, but who knows? You know, I think there's another pay-per-view fight out there for Chisora.
Yeah, that's a good point though. Yeah, people the curiosity to see how Dubois returns. So true. Good point, Cayden. Good point. All right, moving along. So we go to AJ and Pulev. You can start, Kay.
I thought it was a great performance from Anthony Joshua. I thought he showed tremendous boxing skills. I saw him utilize the jab to the body. He showed the uppercut. I saw him change angles, throw the uppercut again. I know he received a lot of criticism of people saying it looked like he lost his killer instinct, but what I saw was he was about to take Pulev out in the third round, and then Pulev turned around and ran.
Why did he get disqualified? Why did Pulev?
And when AJ was going to finish him, the ref stopped him.
Yeah,
I didn't understand. Either you stop the fight or you let him go.
Yeah, bias.
I always thought you're liable to get punched in the back of the head if you do that. I remember seeing that years ago.
The fight's supposed to be stopped.
And the boxer just gave him one thump in the back of his head. So I thought,
the ref is just supposed to stop it. He actually turned his back, coward. Like this, the fight's supposed to be over.
And that's what I thought, because I've seen it too. They say protect yourself at all times. When you turn and you run away and you get chased down,
yourself.
The ref usually just runs in and stops it automatically.
That's
the ultimate sign that a fighter is quit, when they turn around and run away. For that ref, he just stopped it.
He was biased.
And him stopping it in that moment allowed Pulev to recover.
And let him back into the fight.
Let him back into the fight. It wasn't by his choice.
Right.
He was stopped from finishing Pulev in the third round because the referee didn't stop it and then stopped him from going to finish him off. And even although Pulev had his back turned, AJ looked like he was about to hit him to the body anyway. He wasn't even going for the back of the head. He was going to try to
body shot,
an uppercut. But I was impressed. I think everyone's going to have criticism. You can nitpick anything at the end of the day, but Anthony Joshua looked good. He looked like top heavyweight or second heavyweight in the division, easy.
Yeah, I am right. In my opinion, he's number one. I don't care about the undefeated with Tyson Fury. I'm going by a resume. I'm going by a whole lot of different criteria. What makes Anthony Joshua number one, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I just thought that fight was our fight was a good fight. That fight, because of the lead up to the fight. I don't know if you guys saw the press conference and at the weigh-in, and even before Usyk came, because there was like some racial tension as well. I've never seen Pulev. Forgive me. Pulev actually moved like that at the press conference, and the weigh-in. He was just all in Anthony Joshua's face. I don't understand, what was he maybe trying to create hype for the fight, but that pissed off. We've seen a new Anthony Joshua born. This fight, this is a new AJ. The humility is gone. He's like, fuck this shit now, man. I gotta just say shit how it is. That guy pissed AJ off. I saw AJ like showboating in there, in front of Pulev, like, yeah, you want this? Like, wow, like it was wild. I loved that fight. I hope we see more of AJ like that, continuing, like, definitely. But it was a devastating. He humiliated Pulev. He did. But fair play to Pulev. Yeah, he came in. This is the best that I've ever seen Pulev. He stripped down to 17 stone. 3.
He came in with reserves of adrenaline. He was on adrenaline for a good few rounds. So it was just pure adrenaline keeping him going. And he channeled all the energy, and he needed it when it came. It just wasn't enough. I mean,
but I'm just saying.
Longer.
But I'm saying, physicality wise, you could see that Pulev did take this fight seriously, because he stripped down a lot of body weight, and that was impressive. he was more on his toes. For the guy to be nearly 40 years old, I give him that credit. He's looked the best that I've ever seen him at all. So I give him props for that. He was coming to war. He wasn't coming just for a check, you know. So I give him that. And AJ, I think he put on from the Ruiz fight. Obviously, he stripped down to like I think the top end of 16 stone, but then he weighed in for this Pulev fight. I think he came in at like 17-1, so he probably just put on like 3-4 pounds. But I think like AJ's realized this bulk is not needed. Your body just doesn't. As a boxer, you don't need that much bulk because otherwise, you know, you've got to take in way more oxygen to fuel those muscles, and it slows you down. Hence, what we saw, I think, in Ruiz 1. That's why he had to debulk in Ruiz 2. So I think with like commentaries saying and people saying, it is the evolution of Anthony Joshua, and it's a pleasure to watch. And even after that, he still got a load of backlash saying, "Oh, we could see that, you know, he was a bit tentative." Maybe so. They said it was like the haunting of Ruiz. Maybe so. Well, but he still got the guy out of there, and he would have got him out of there in 3 rounds if the ref did his due diligence, you know. So,
I mean,
you know,
I don't look. People not meant to supposed to learn if they take a loss of what got them that loss. I think it's only right to box differently and not do something that led you down the path of losing a fight.
Yeah.
So I don't see that as a criticism. I do personally think at the moment, if I had to put money on it, would say Tyson Fury beats him. I think he's just better in more areas, and he's got more ways that he can win the fight, and he's got the ability to change a fight. And I do think it will be very difficult, even if Joshua does get the victory in the first fight. It will be very difficult to beat Tyson Fury twice, because I think he would have had that experience with you, and he's got the ability to come in other different ways. I know Joshua does as well. I just think that Tyson edges it for me, and even if Joshua does beat him once, I think Tyson will end up with the belts at the end if it's an undisputed fight and they do like face their mandatories and do their rematches as I think they should.
It's a tight for me. It's a tight fight. I think like if they fought 4 times, I think twice Joshua could win and twice Fury could win. It's tight like that for me.
I'm leaning more to 3-1 Fury. I'm leaning more to 3-1.
Leon, I'm gonna kick you off the show.
I think
I can only call it as I see it.
I think there's Fury's more technically sound and skilled fighter, but Anthony Joshua is a boxer puncher. And I think Joshua's advantage is he would have the power in the ring, and we've seen that Fury hurt.
Fury doesn't have power like that.
Well, he had enough power to stop Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, but he hasn't. He's not a power puncher.
His recovery skills are great, though. He can take a punch, Fury.
Fury is not a power puncher for the man's weight. I think you would think that he would be able to snooze a lot of people.
Weight, his movement, his IQ, his ability.
His IQ is amazing.
All that. There are challenges with facing Fury for Anthony Joshua, but there are also challenges for
Fury.
They both have challenges facing one another. They're different. There are obstacles they'll have to overcome. Like Wilder was able to drop Fury, so and Anthony Joshua to me is more accurate and has a better offensive arsenal. Right? That doesn't mean he's going to land the shot that Wilder landed. 2 different fighters, but the point is, if Wilder was able to do it, then you got to believe that Josh was probably capable of doing something similar.
Yeah.
Now Fury also has better boxing ability, higher IQ than anyone I can think of that's been in the ring with Anthony Joshua.
Right.
For him, it's really a fight that I feel like the public can get behind because it has all the makings of being split down the middle. You can make legitimate arguments for both fighters. If it happens, I think that boxing wins if that fight happens.
Yeah. Do you think that fight is going to happen? Gosh.
After the Wilder Joshua saga, I just lose all hope until the contract's signed. And
Signed, sealed,
Not
delivered.
even signed. Not even signed until the day of the fight.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know.
I understand.
There's so much talk.
Now, I understand what you're saying. You don't want to get too happy until it's official.
Yeah, exactly. It's like someone promising
I
that they're
thought
gonna
Wilder and Joshua was going to happen. I really thought it was going to happen. I mean, I'm an optimistic person in general, but it's just like, yeah, there's only so much optimism you can have, and only so much time you can believe all these promoters and fighters when they're saying this fight's going to happen, want the fight to happen.
Yeah. Wilder's been dropped by bums. I think that fight flattered. Fury. Wilder's been dropped by bums. I think that fight flattered Fury. Flattered in what way? Like,
Made him think he's a power puncher.
Power puncher. Yeah. This is. I think so. Gassed him up, mate. Because I interviewed Christopher Lovejoy, and he sparred, even though he's not of reputable of anything to be at this moment in time. But he did say he sparred Tyson Fury, and he was like, Tyson Fury's punches were really not that hard.
Cayden, if you think Chann has been harsh on us today, listen to that interview with Christopher Lovejoy, what she's done to him, man.
Oh my God.
On him.
I did nothing.
Guy,
I did nothing. He done it all himself.
He did. It was all deserved, but
I didn't come on the platform and lie. He did. I'm
definitely gonna check that out now.
he's not in the WBA rankings like he said he was going to be. You know,
no, he's not in no WBA. He
said he was going to be.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it just takes a letter to send. I got to send in a letter. Dude, do you think you're talking to just anybody that doesn't know nothing about what? I don't know everything.
You gotta dream it. And you like Wilder says, speak it, believe it, receive it, right? So
that's what he said. Why he thought he was out of his contract the second time, because he had positive thoughts and thought if he dreamt it and believed it that it would occur. Do you believe that?
Some people believe that if you speak it, the universe will deliver it. You can't. Hey, whatever people believe in, that's fine. But getting back to Tyson Fury's power, he hit hard enough. And see, this is the thing. Like, he hits hard enough because,
he slaps.
Well, I didn't see Klitschko rushing in, right?
No,
I didn't see that. I didn't see Otto Wallin. He had success. He cut Fury's eye, but he wasn't able to take advantage of it. And also the man you're mentioning, did he spar Tyson Fury when he weighed 270? Because he went in against Wilder at 250. And you talk about weight, so I'm talking about 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Like how many stones?
I know. Yeah, I still couldn't get it in pounds as well.
But he gained 30 more pounds for the fight. Around 30 pounds for the rematch. So that extra weight, I believe that was muscle. When you look at his frame, you look at his definition,
it wasn't
comparison. So that's going to change how hard he hits. Yeah,
true. And then, but then if Wilder put on Wilder went to 230 and still did nothing, did it? So
John Fury explained why he lost the punching power. He said when you lose all that weight, the 10 stones that he lost, you don't have that strength, and it took him after the first Wilder fight, the 2 extra fights, to get that strength up again, to actually start to get some power behind it.
Right.
That was his description. He said if you touched this, he said he's something like if you touched his stomach, it was soft. It was just he'd lost the weight.
Yeah.
But it's like muscle had broken down as well, and he'd lost like the power to go with it. And that's why he was saying 100%. That's why he was saying he was so confident his son's gonna knock him out. He's like, if he couldn't beat him when he was as weak as that, then he's got no chance. And that's why he was so confident.
Well, boy, sight go, isn't it? Sight go. You have to bring up the little Jamaican terminologies. Moving along. Who else have we? Is that all of that was the last fight, wasn't it? And then
I think we're at Campbell Garcia now.
Now we're at Campbell Garcia. Okay, so where are we gonna go? Do you want to predict? Okay, do you want to predict and say where this fight, who's gonna win, and why you think they're gonna win?
Me?
Yeah.
So I'm going with Ryan Garcia. I'm going with Ryan Garcia because of potential. His fight with Francisco Fonseca and with Duno, he showed
That's it,
power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he showed power. He showed that he has pop in his punches. Now, of course, they're not Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell has a split decision loss to Jorge Linares. He was in a very close fight with Vasily Lomachenko. He's battle tested and he's going to be motivated because this is a big opportunity for him. But I'm going with Ryan Garcia just because I believe the speed, the power. I see the potential of being a superstar, but also I feel like he has the right people around him. He has Eddie Reynoso, he has Canelo Alvarez. He's in a camp where I feel like he's motivated by Canelo. He's motivated by the people that are around him, and he's fresher too. I think Campbell took a lot of damage in those fights with Linares and with Vasily Lomachenko. So I feel like a fresher, younger, physically, but Luke Campbell is more technically sound. I do feel like his technique is better. I do feel like he's going to have the experience, and I think that's going to close the gap. So I would say probably 60-40 Ryan Garcia, but it wouldn't shock me if Luke Campbell pulls it out.
For me, I'm going with Garcia as well, but where I'm not too sure is it by way of knockout. Initially, I said Garcia and Luke, they're probably going to go to points, and Garcia and you'll see probably Luke have to have a knee count once or twice, maybe. But then I thought, Campbell, Garcia's been getting out people in one round. Not to say that he could do that to Luke. Not that I could say he could do that to Luke, because it's questionable, the level of opponent that Garcia's faced. This is a massive fight for Garcia. This is where the world is going to be able to gauge if Garcia is world level, world elite, if he's en route to that. And then it's also Campbell seems to fail every time he gets to these types of fights. He never can actually win. So that says a lot about him, in my opinion. And I just don't think he has the confidence. When I watch him in his press conferences, when I've watched him in that you said, is it Frances? What did you say?
Francisco Fonseca.
Yeah. I'm just want to see when I saw, I think when Luke got the defeat from Loma, I just think that it's like it took a piece of his soul. I just think he hasn't recovered from all of that. I just think he's not as confident as he's not confident. I just know he's not a power puncher. Yeah, I've seen his knockout reel, I've seen his reel, but just because, and that's another thing, just because someone's an Olympic gold medalist, the UK are mad biased when you listen to the commentary and watch previous commentaries and that, they're always like, he was losing against Ivan, what's his surname? The short little black dude that he fought, Ivan. Who Luke Campbell fought, and his team was telling him, "Oh, you're doing well." His team was giving him the worst information in the world. Did any of you guys watch that? Ivan Mendy.
No, I don't think I've.
Mendy, you need to watch it. You need to watch that fight. It was just one of the worst. I think that was his first loss. That it was like 5 years ago. I rewatched it recently because I knew I had to brush up on this, but. Yeah, he just falls short to me. It doesn't matter if he
was Yvan Mendy.
Yeah, Ivan Mendy, and he was where he lost his first loss. And from there, that guy, that guy ran rings around Campbell, right? He was shorter reach. He just took it. He had Campbell on the back foot. Every single round. Campbell's ring IQ was quite, because he's got good ring IQ. That's the thing. It was okay, but at the time it was okay, but you can't say he had good ring IQ. But someone forces him to be on the back foot all 12 rounds. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I'm going with Garcia. Garcia's got them hands. Like what you said, Cayden. He's got youth on his side. He's got. I would never think that De La Hoya will ever put him in a fight knowing that he couldn't possibly win it. I just don't think De La Hoya will set his fighter up to fail like that. So De La Hoya must see something why he's enabled Ryan to take this fight, in my opinion. And yeah, and like we said, Ryan can pull out them power punches. The only thing that might mess with Ryan is due to Campbell being southpaw, and Ryan usually messing up people with the left hook, so it may cause a bit of complications. Jabs this way, you know how it is when it's southpaw orthodox, and if the orthodox person can't get their head around with the, but I would imagine that he sparred a load of southpaws anyway in the lead up to this fight. But hey, you never know what happens until it's the actual night of the fight and what goes down. But yeah, I've got Garcia winning. I'm not sure if it's by way of knockout. I'm not sure if it's by points. Lee?
I think on historically, Campbell's fought a better caliber of opponent, but I just think going into this fight, the stacks, the odds are stacked in Garcia's favor.
Yeah,
I think that he wouldn't have been affected by COVID because he would have been training in the best facilities. He would have had the best sparring partners. He's there with Eddie Reynoso. He's there with other quality boxers in his camp. I think that he's got a whole system that's groomed towards supporting him and getting him to where he's going to be. He's fighting at home, and I think I'm predicting a knockout by Garcia, similar to. I'm expecting a similar type of performance to Lopez Comey, where he's going to go out and I just think he's going to blast him early. I think he's just going to come out and I think he's going to really let the reins go. I think he's looking on this to be a standout performance. I think he's seen the criticism Devin Haney's got after the Gamboa fight with the subpar performance, and I think he's seeing that and they're saying to him, that's not how to build. You're going to build and you're going to put on an explosive performance.
He is explosive though.
But let's see. I mean, but Luke Campbell does have all the skills to negate these things.
Yeah, he does.
On paper, you would expect a better performance from Campbell. I really do just see a surprise like Lopez when he blew out Comey. I think Garcia is just gonna steamroll him and go for it.
Yeah, so do I.
Wow.
And then so do I. Sorry. So, yeah, us Brits don't seem to fare well in that weight class. When it comes, it seems a bit disappointing. We've had a lot of
Boy cards as well. He's just got everything's in his favor.
Everything in his favor. I just don't see it going any other way. But if it does, more power to Campbell. But just don't see it happening. To be fair,
one day away.
We just got one more sleep, and then it happens. I'll be doing a live watch along on Peptalk UK's channel. So guys,
I preferably I want Campbell to win because I think Campbell will face Haney, and that'll bring Haney into play. I don't think Garcia will face Haney. I think Garcia's got his eyes on other things.
Yeah, you know that's not happening, right? Come on, let's be in the world of real.
Campbell's got a chance, but everything's stacked.
You don't think Campbell has like a chance at all?
He has a chance. I think it's 70-30. In my opinion, 70-30 Garcia. Sorry.
I just don't know if Garcia, his power is going to translate that well with an elite level fighter. Because, he's fighting someone like Campbell's going there to win. He's expected to win. He's not going to fall down and stay down. If he falls down, he's going to get back up.
That's why I said he'll do a knee count. Maybe I think there'll be a knee count, though, where he'll have to go on his knee, have a count. All right, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. I see that.
That's a huge statement. If he does what you're saying and he blows them out, that's a huge statement to the division.
Yeah, the sensible prediction is Garcia points. I think it will be a huge. That's why I think it'll be the same. Yeah, but
I think there's going to be a knee count. I think Campbell's going to go down with a knee count. I just feel it. I could be wrong, but I just think, whatever the way. I just don't see Garcia coming out. And could you imagine if Garcia comes out and just knocks him clean out? That would be funny, though. Wild.
If Garcia does lose,
that would be wild. But I don't really see that happening. That's why I'd say it could go to points, and with my man taking a little knee count or two. But hey, we like we said, we got one more sleep and then we'll know, guys.
But Cayden, what do you think one last question for Cayden, sorry. What do you think would be the response in America if Campbell did get the win? Do you think that they will be saying that he's pushed Garcia too fast and he needs to change trainers, or do you think it's the case of they will be happy to give him time, or are they as critical as they are in the UK when the fighter takes a loss?
I think so, but I don't think that they're going to blame Eddie Reynoso. I think they're going to blame Oscar De La Hoya. They're going to say De La Hoya threw him in with Campbell too soon. They're going to say it was because of the rift that they had with one another, because they had some issues with one another, Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia. So if he loses and people are looking for someone to blame, I think they're going to point the finger at Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah. Muy interesante. We shall see, shall we? I'm really looking forward to this fight. Really looking forward to it. I am. It's going to set the gauge with where we see Ryan and where we see Luke. And if Luke loses, that will be his fourth loss in a row, right?
Not in a row.
Is it not in a row?
His fourth loss, though.
Would it not be in a row?
No. He lost to Vasily Lomachenko, but before that, he beat Adrian Young.
And then he lost one, and then he rematched. He won a rematch.
Yeah, he beat
true.
Indy.
And then had a rematch. True.
He had 3 wins after his loss to Linares before he lost to Vasily. So
just be his fourth loss, but not fourth consecutive loss. Okay, well, I don't really know where he goes. It will just show to me that he's not. There's elite, and then there's like there's world-class elite, and then there's world-class. I don't know.
That's a difficult question. Where does he go if he loses?
Where does he go? Like, where does he? Just to wrap it up, where do you think he goes if Campbell does lose? Where do you think he goes?
Unless Lopez goes up a weight and some belts come free, I'm struggling to find options for him. I mean,
me too.
The good thing is that there's a lot of mandatories available with the belts. I mean, that's what I think with Lomachenko. If Lomachenko wants a Lopez fight, he might have to earn his way up for a mandatory, and it might be the same for Campbell. But then you're thinking, if you're losing to Lomachenko and you're losing to Garcia, even if you get another title shot against Lopez, are you going to win it? It puts Campbell in a really difficult position. He's in real trouble if he loses this fight.
I always think it's mad that Campbell makes that weight, because he's walking around weight. It is definitely not at 130. It's wild. The guy's 5'9". 5'9", and he's 130. It's tiny.
Ryan Garcia is pretty tall too, I think.
And Ryan Garcia as well. Yeah, they're both at a similar height. So just to wrap it up, Cayden, where do you see if Luke Campbell goes? If he loses, where do you see him going?
He's gonna go to a great place. I'm gonna tell you where he's gonna go.
Heaven.
If he loses, because he's coming off a loss right now. He lost to Lomachenko. So if he loses to Ryan Garcia, he's gonna get a tune-up fight to build him back up, and everyone can say, "Oh, Campbell's back." And then they're going to put him in with Devin Haney. That's what I think will happen.
You really think? Well, that's a good.
Well, hey, look at what happened with Gamboa.
Yeah, true.
That's not going to help Devin Haney very much.
It's not going to give Haney any more credibility.
Well, even if it's not Devin, then they'll give him the Tio. Like, I think he'll become that guy.
The journeyman.
Stay busy. Get a nice little win on your resume.
He's just going to be the journeyman. We don't. That's a sad way to go.
It's not sad. You still get paid.
You still get paid. Yeah, you still get your money. That's true. Guys,
and he's had the opportunities as well. He has had the opportunities. He's
yeah,
you know.
well, we'll see. Guys, this has been, as you can see, we've been online for nearly 3.5 hours. We
It's
couldn't,
been fun, Chann. Thank you.
and we've had a full year of boxing, so we couldn't actually, you know, condense it anymore, you know, so it just shows how much good boxing that we've had this year in 2020, and it's taken us 3.5 hours to talk about it, but it hasn't felt long and winded and drained. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I want to thank Cayden from Boxing Bros. Cayden, big up yourself each and every time. Thank you.
I want to thank the both of you.
Leon, thank you. You always come through like the woo.
I want to thank the both of you, man. I enjoy your boxing content. It's always good to hear different opinions. And, I enjoy both your channels, and yeah, it's just a pleasure to be able to share a platform with you guys. Thank you.
Oh no, all day long. We want to say massive thank you to Tunde Ajayi as well. You know, yeah. So that's where.
Thank you. It was a pleasure sharing the screen with the both of you as well.
Yeah,
it's always nice to chop it up about boxing. So
always
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Cayden. Your knowledge is plentiful. I love it. And big up the Boxing Bros. Guys, if you tune in to Cayden has would you just shout out your channel, Cayden?
It's fine. Boxing Bros. You can check us out.
Yeah, Boxing Bros USA. They're on Instagram, Facebook. Check them out. I subscribe to their channel. Great channel. So I'm flattered that you came. Thanks a lot. So my outro will be 2020. See you later. Chuck you in the bin. Trash. Hey girl, it's Lady Chann. Rep nonetheless.